Jacksonville today, 92, but that heat index is approaching 100 degrees. Now, Jacksonville, of course, has been practicing in that kind of weather, which today will be their hottest home game in their 16-year history. The Broncos bring in the fact that they played all summer long in cool weather. But you know what? In the high altitude, they're going to be in pretty good shape themselves playing here at sea level.
Anytime you practice in the high altitude of Denver, Colorado, then come to sea level, yeah, you should hold up. But it's something about the hot, heavy, humid air here in Jacksonville that has Josh McDaniels concerned.
He's in his second season as the head coach of the Denver Broncos. Came after a nice stint with Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots. And there is Jack Del Rio, now in his 8th season. Played, he was an assistant coach, long history in football, college player at USC. The Denver Broncos have won the flip of the coin. Josh Scobie will be kicking off, as Solomon says, in this hot, humid air in Jacksonville. And deep back will be the rookie from Oklahoma State, 5th-round pick, Parrish Cox. Cox probably could have been drafted a little bit earlier, but there were some character issues going into the draft. A lot of teams brought that up, but Denver thinks they've got a find. So here we go. A lot of optimism around these two camps all summer long. The Jaguars and the Broncos, and away we go. Cox from the 3 for Denver. Now to about the 21-yard line. He was brought down by Russell Allen on a 17-yard return. Allen played a little bit last year at linebacker with 5 starts for this Jacksonville team, which brings us to quarterback Kyle Orton. And Solomon, he's coming off a career year a season ago.
Oh, absolutely. And so much of the talk in Denver has been about his offseason improvement in his second year.
On 1st and 10, the season opening.
Well-designed
28-yard catch and run.
And Kevin, yeah, well-designed play. Watch, they start one way, but then Cram is coming back across the formation, and the defense is totally unaware of his location. Not only is he able to get open to make the catch, creating yards after the catch for the big tight end.
Graham missed 3 preseason games because of a chest injury, rib injury. Now a couple tight ends in there. They got Gronkowski in there, 1st and 10 from the 49. Moreno out of Georgia. A block by Clady. And a block by Gaffney. Brings him down to about the 41-yard line off the pile. Anthony Smith, the gain of about 10 on the play, and very close to a 1st down. They'll move the chains. Here comes Clady now, the guy who provided the block on that last play. The knee is not 100%. Missed a lot of the preseason. He against Aaron Canton, one of the big matchups today. And veteran Jabbar Gaffney, as Kyle Orton was telling us last night, was the long threat. Tebow is in. You hear some boos. Larson in motion. They call it the Wild Horse. Their version of the Wildcat. It's a pickup of a yard on the play for Tim Tebow, with his family in attendance.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of people here in attendance coming to see Tim Tebow. The #1 jersey selling in the National Football League. That number 15 Denver Bronco jersey. We told you in our open that he was going to play in some short yardage and goal line situations. We're going to see even more of him as this game progresses.
It's the jitters out early, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Go ahead, take a hit, and get comfortable.
They got 5 in the secondary. Middleton is coming for Morrison. 2nd down and 9. You see the bevy of receivers, including Moreno, at the top of your screen. Good block by Clady. Nice catch by Royal. To the 27-yard line. Brought down on the play by Darrell Smith. 13-yard pickup. Boy, do they look crisp to begin things here against this Jacksonville defense. Alu is a rookie out of Cal. Campman is the guy they've added on that line as well. They expect a lot from the 1st-round pick out of Cal. Kirk Morrison, longtime Raiders starter, is now a free agent signee by this Jacksonville team. And the safety position has been an issue here for a long time. Considine is back there. Tebow is a wideout, bottom of your screen. Outside they go, and here is a catch, another one. The 2nd on the drive by Daniel Graham, picks up 8 yards on the play. He had one for 28 earlier in the drive, so they've used Tebow, Sullivan, twice on this drive.
And we talked to the Jacksonville Jaguars, their players and coaches. They thought they would see Tim Tebow in a Wildcat offense, and they said, hey, we have our Wildcat package on defense, this Jack Del Rio's team. But I think you've got to really stay true to what you're doing on offense. This Denver Broncos offense is moving the ball on their 1st possession.
4 in the secondary. Gronkowski is the 2nd tight end, 2nd down and 2. Moreno Didn't play in the preseason. Tackle was made by Kirk Morrison. And a gain of 1 will be 3rd down and 1. Moreno's been out with a hamstring. That's a cause of concern for Denver.
Yeah, he and Correll Buckholter, 2 running backs for the Denver Broncos, did not play at all during the entire preseason. So much has been talked about it, but no one has talked about the fact that Maurice Jones-Drew on the other side for Jacksonville only had 6 carries. And Josh McDaniel, he wants the offense getting into the huddle, getting out. You can see he's a little bit hot. But he said all 45 guys who dressed today has to play in order to get through the 4 quarters here in the heat in Jacksonville.
Quinn is now the second tight end, 3rd and 1. Moreno diving for the first down. There's a late flag thrown in as the gain took him to the 12-yard line. 6-yard gain as it stands right now. Durant among many over there for the Jaguars.
Number 68. Offense. 10-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
That's the rookie Beatles.
Yeah, Zane Beatles at right tackle. He's a rookie playing in his first NFL game. He's got a lot to handle working against Derek Harvey and Aaron Campman. And that's where the Jacksonville Jaguars have to improve their play. And one has to wonder, with the Denver Broncos having 3 players on that offensive line who's never played in an NFL game, just how well will they play today? How well will they be able to handle this Jacksonville Jaguar defense and the demands of communication up front on the offensive line?
Buckhalter is in the backfield. Middleton and Jones come in as the 5th and 6th defensive backs. It's 3rd and 11. They need the 17. Drive began back at the 21. Here comes Campman. Down he goes. They only had 14 sacks all of last season. Campman registers number 1 in the first series defensively for this Jacksonville team.
And we told you at the beginning he was going to be a handful all day. And watch him, he's coming around, coming right up the middle and right into the face of Kyle Orton. And Kyle Orton saw a lot of Aaron Campman when he played in Chicago, and Campman was starring for the Green Bay Packers. Said he is the best I've ever played against. And boy, he's proving it already so early in today's ball game.
Loss of 7. Back to the 36, and here comes Britton Colquitt, undrafted out of Tennessee. And he'll be punting for Denver. Mathis, a Jacksonville native, a former Pro Bowler, is back there, signals for the fair catch, and that's what he makes at about the 7-yard line, a 28-yard punts. Campman with a big play. Already a sack. He's made his presence felt early in this game for the Jacksonville D. So the Broncos look pretty good taking it downfield, but they got a punt. They had a hold. They had the sack. Campman was the one to record that for the Jacksonville defense. So the good-looking drive goes for naught from the 8-yard line after the Denver punt. 1st down and 10. Gerard with the eye. Jones will lead Jones-Drew, and there's the pass downfield, which is dropped by Mike Sims-Walker with some coverage on the play by the Pro Bowler Champ Bailey. It'll be 2nd down and 10. But quarterback is David Gerard. He was the AFC Pro Bowl quarterback a season ago.
Yeah, and David Gerard said, hey, I need some guys to make some plays for me. If I get it in their zip code, they've got to come down with it.
So Gerard, who is in his 4th season as the Jaguar starter, and they've asked him to be more of a leader on this team as well.
Yeah, he's had to take more of a leadership role, be more of a vocal leader. We'll see how the team responds. That pass should have been caught by Mike Sims-Walker.
Underwood is the 3rd receiver on the 2nd down and 10. That's the tight end Lewis in motion. Jones-Drew. Easter with the block. And then finally getting their hands on him was Nate Jones after a gain of 5. It's out to about the 13-yard line. And we talked about Gerard. He'll be protected by left tackle Eugene Monroe. He was a 1st-round pick a season ago for the Jaguars. And we've already mentioned Mercedes Lewis. He is an emerging star. In fact, we talked to the team on Friday. Everybody talked about their big tight end.
Yeah, 6'6", 275. Jack Del Rio said he was the most dominating player throughout all of training camp.
The rookie Cox becomes the 5th defensive back for the Broncos. It's 3rd down and 5. Underwood remains that 3rd receiver for David Gerard out of East Carolina. Winery with a nice block. Oh, they've got the receiver, Mike Thomas. He worked on Champ Bailey and beat the 9-time Pro Bowler. The gain is to the 36, a 23-yard hit.
David Gerard is looking for some playmakers in the offense. Over to the left side of your screen. He throws it up top, and he's always been an accurate passer. Having some guys on the other end who can make plays on the ball in the air with a step on Champ Bailey, one of the league's best. Thomas is able to come down with it. And David Gerard told us we have to convert 3rd downs and keep our defense off the field on such a hot day.
Jarvis Moss has come in for Jason Hunter at that outside backer position on 1st and 10. Maurice Jones-Drew carves out a couple of yards as he's whacked in the middle. Looked like Justin Bannon brings him down. In the middle, anchoring that line, is Jamal Williams after 12 years in San Diego and 3 Pro Bowls. Elvis Dumerville is out for the season, so the ex-Packer, ex-Lion starter Jason Hunter does start, but they're going to move, it looks like, Moss in and out of that lineup with him. And a couple of Pro Bowlers in the secondary, Dawkins and, of course, Champ Bailey. 2nd down and 8. 4 in the secondary right now for the Denver D. Number 7 last year in the National Football League. Maurice Jones-Drew, Meester the center with a block, and there he goes into the backfield and brought down by Mario Hagan. A flag has been thrown on that 2nd and 8 after the gain of 10 right there. Let's see where they mark it.
Holding, 66. Offense, 10-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
The newest guy on that line is Justin Smiley, the ex-Dolphin.
Justin Smiley beat out Vince Mattawide to win the starting position at left guard. Gets flagged already on the first possession. And let's see if we can show you to him right there, 66. Now, you don't have to hold. See, your hands are inside. No need to hold, but right there, that's where they get the flag. When the defensive player starts to separate, you've got to let them go. If you continue to hold, they're going to see it every time.
Rashad Jennings is in the backfield. 5 in the secondary. 2nd down and 14. Monroe fighting off McBean. One of the better running quarterbacks in the NFL is David Garrard. He was belted out of bounds near the 35-yard line on a scramble of 3 yards. He was one of the most hit quarterbacks, Solomon, a season ago in the NFL.
He was sacked 44 times last year, and if he wasn't as mobile as you just saw in that play there, would have been sacked even more. They're expecting this offensive line to get better. Eugene Monroe, Eben Britton, guys who are playing in their 2nd year, but you can see the most times being knocked down, 121 times. That's a lot. It's a lot of trips to the whirlpool as well the next day. So David Garrard has to stay healthy in order for this team to play well.
Running back remains Jennings. It's 3rd down and 9. Boy, they're crumbling again. Jennings can't get to it. Coverage on the play by Andre Goodman, the ex-Lion Dolphin, 2nd season with the Broncos. And that 28-yard pass to Thomas goes for naught, and they got a punt like Denver before him here on their first possession.
You know, every now and then you're going to get some looks that you haven't seen before, especially on opening day. Don Martindale, the new defensive coordinator for the Denver Broncos, brought a couple of defensive backs to provide pressure to David Garrard, forced to throw it away on 3rd down.
Podlish will punt, and they've got Parrish Cox deep back. So each team 7-place punt. Beautiful punt right here. Cox will let it go. The hang time was almost at 5 seconds. Great punt to the 7-yard line. 56-yarder. Each team has had it. Couple punts halfway through the first.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. The new 2011 Mustang, a whole new breed of car. And by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
We're back in Jacksonville. It's not too late to play NFL.com's all-new fantasy football game, the first and only game with video. It's free. It's easy to play. Sign up today at NFL.com/fantasy. Second possession, Kyle Orton in the Denver offense. Moreno in the backfield. 1st and 10 from the 7. They went to the tight end on a play like this earlier. This time they're going for the wide receiver Jabbar Gaffney. The coverage on the play by Cox. It'll be 2nd down and 10. And
you look at Kyle Orton. We talked about what a wonderful preseason he had, separating himself from the other 2 quarterbacks, Tim Tebow and Brady Quinn, to be the unanimous #1 quarterback. And in so much, he was rewarded with a contract extension. Josh McDaniels had a lot of good things about Kyle Orton, his understanding of the offense, his ability to make plays. You know, he's one of those guys that people don't know him as an elite quarterback, but he's a very good quarterback.
You see the 3rd receiver, Lloyd. Middleton is coming as the 5th defensive back for the Jaguars, taking the place of the linebacker Morrison. 2nd down and 10. Right on the money. That pass is caught by Brandon Lloyd. It is a gain of 13 on the play and a 1st down for Denver as we take you to New York and James Brown.
No question, Kevin and Solly, about the ability of Tom Brady and Wes Welker to make plays, capping a 2nd and 5 from the 9 drive. 9-yard touchdown run, capping a 5-play, 72-yard drive. Patriots on top 7-0. Kevin Harlan, Solomon Wilcox.
Sully?
Yeah, JB, we had Wes Welker in that last game of the year, and it's nice to see him back so soon.
Moreno on 1st and 10, whacked by linebacker Darrell Smith, led the team in tackles a season ago on a gain of 4. They'll spot him at the 24.
You can see Noshawn Moreno coming in. They're going to rotate the running backs between he and Correll Buckhalter. I think it's got to be amazing not to get any work during the preseason because of a hamstring injury, and then be able to trust the fact that you can make a burst at the line of scrimmage and be able to play on opening day. So I'm sure that hamstring is in the back of the mind of Noshawn Moreno.
Long-time Eagle Buckholder back there. He's missed portions of 3 seasons with a variety of injuries. 2nd down and 6. Eddie Royal on the move. 5 in the secondary. Buckholter to the 27-yard line. Around his ankles, he finds Derek Harvey on a gain of 3. We talked earlier about the weather, how the heat would affect teams like Denver coming in here. They've been hydrating for a week, and in fact, they said it got kind of comical because during camp and during this week of meetings, guys are running out of the meetings to go to the bathroom.
Go to the restroom. Yeah, that was more disruptive than anything else. But the Denver Broncos have traveled to warm weather places before. They're doing everything they can to keep cool. But they're going to have to just hang in there in the 4th quarter. You know this is going to be a close game. You're going to need your stamina in that 4th and final quarter.
Still the nickel. Buckholder remains. It's 3rd down and 3, looking for Gaffney, and the coverage on the play was provided by the former Pro Bowler back in 06. Well, Rasheem Mathis.
Yeah, they've got pressure up front, but how about the coverage on the back end by Rasheem Mathis? He's working against Jabbar Gaffney. Gaffney has the best chemistry with Orton, but look, you get in front of the wide receiver on that slant route. That's how you get the interception. They're never going to throw the flag on that one. Mathis, all he did was beat Jabbar Gaffney to the point of intercept. Nearly came away with the ball.
Mike Thomas is deep back. He's out of Arizona. In his 2nd NFL season to punt once again. Britton Colquitt. So the first possession, 7 plays punt for Denver. This 5 plays punt. And Thomas from the 22. Skip finds his way into the defense. Bruton makes the stop. 51-yard punt. Hang time of 4.59. 4-yard return. Here comes Maurice Jones-Drew and the Jacksonville offense.
As we return to Everbank Stadium, the key to winning in the AFC South is getting off to a fast start. Just ask the 2005 coach. Got off to a 13-0 start. In 2006, the coach jumped out to a 9-game winning streak. In 07, they did it again. Then the Titans won it by winning 10 straight games. And how about last year, 14 straight for Indianapolis? Over the last 5 years, the winner of the AFC South won no fewer than their first 7 games. That's just how important this game is for Jack Del Rio and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hunter Nears the outside linebackers. Here's a 1st and 10 from the 26. And look at the elusive Maurice Jones-Drew, finally brought down by Brian Dawkins, who will be 37 next month. That's a gain of 1 on the play there. This is a college football hotbed. They've been slow to embrace here in Jacksonville the NFL. You throw in the economy, it's a pretty volatile mix they're going with right now.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. But what did Rasheem Mathis tell us? That this is one of the most important games in franchise history, because he said, hey, we have everyone's attention. The community has rallied around the team for this opening game, and so they want to play well and be able to keep the fans coming back to this stadium so that they can maintain the support throughout the season.
Extra defensive back is Nate Jones. 2nd down and 9. Britton with a nice block at that right tackle. Oh, there's a late flag. They were going for the tight end, Mercedes Lewis. The coverage among many by Ronaldo Hill for the Denver Broncos, and we'll see what that's all about.
Interference, number 20, defense. Ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. 1st down.
Brian Dawkins.
Yeah, there was some contact before the arrival of the ball, and if you say this ball's thrown too high and maybe it wasn't going to be caught, well, remember, Lewis goes 6'6", 275, so I don't know that you can overthrow him. You can see that contact was made before the arrival of the football.
Wink Martindale. 15-yard penalty, so spot the ball at the 42. 4 in the secondary for Garrard. Look at the time he's got right there. Bobbled and reeled in by Thomas. And that's a gain of 4 on the play. And he was brought down by Nate Jones. Wednesday on Showtime, JB, Chris Collinsworth, Phil Simms, and Warren Sapp return on cable's longest-running show, multi-award-winning Inside the NFL, every Wednesday on Showtime. Jacksonville in their second possession with quarterback David Garrard. First possession, 7 plays punt. Denver's had it twice. 7 plays punt, 5 plays punt. Second down and 7 right here. Jones, the fullback, on the move. And lead block for Jones, true. And there he goes into the secondary. Brian Dawkins will bring him down after a good-looking run of 18 yards. Another first down for Jacksonville. We'll spot him at the 38.
Kevin, what a block by the fullback, Greg Jones, on DJ Williams. Watch as he come out, 55. Watch him chop him at the legs. That gets Jones-Drew to the corner of the defense and well beyond the first down marker. The ability to knock DJ off his feet, that is what allows Jones-Drew to get to the second level of the defense. Great blocking up front for the running back.
Ronald Fields down the middle of that defensive line for Denver. It is 1st and 10. This is Jennings, who was brought down by Jason Hunter in that Doomerville position. It's a gain of 5, so they're running the ball down to the 32-yard line.
And now we're seeing the offensive line and, of course, the blocking backs, the blocking of fullback Greg Jones, beginning to get some movement against the Denver Broncos defense. This defense ranked 18th last year. They gave up over 114 yards per game rushing, but during the second half of the season, they really struggled in their run defense.
Second down and 5. Jennings remains and offers a block. Oh, there goes the pocket. And there goes McBean jumping on the quarterback, David Garrard. And a loss back to the 37. Ayers came in as well. Loss of about 5 on the play.
Yeah, watch how the wall collapse. There it is right there. And see, they have it protected. And what did David Garrard tell us when we met him? He said, I have to do a better job of getting rid of the football. It was a 5-step drop. Now, by the time you hit that 5th step in your drop, the ball's got to come out. He's well aware of it. I'm sure when he's critiqued, the offensive line can't take the blame on that one. He's got to be able to get rid of the football. Now he's going to call a timeout on a crucial 3rd down play.
As they're moving right now, the big play has been a run by Maurice Jones-Drew for 18 yards for Coach Jack Del Rio. Time taken.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by AT&T. Rethink possible. And by the Capital One Venture Card. What's in your wallet?
After the timeout, it's 3rd down and 10 on the second drive for the Jacksonville Jaguars at the 37-yard line. A nickel secondary out there for the Broncos. Moss is coming in and can't get at the quarterback, and that is an incomplete pass. It's at the 15-yard line, and it was intended on the play for a guy they just called up this week off the practice squad, John Matthews. The coverage by Champ Bailey. They got a punt.
Yeah, Champ Bailey is in close coverage to Matthews. The protection does hold up. And Garrard was looking at him all the way. Ball hits the hands of Matthews, and you can see Champ Bailey pulling down that arm. That's just excellent coverage by the veteran cornerback, Champ Bailey.
So Matthews and Garrard have a little conversation. Matthews was in that Indianapolis Colt camp a season ago, and to punt right now, Adam Podlish. 6 plays punt. They'll try to get this out of the reach of Eddie Royal. And can they got it? Oh, what a nice play by reserve tight end Kasim Osgood, who knocks it in. A 33-yard punt. Osgood has been a special teams Pro Bowler 3 of the last 4 years.
And you can see why he has gone to Pro Bowls. What a play.
Thursdays this fall, William Shatner is an outspoken father who tells it like he sees it in the new comedy Bleep My Dad Says. Premieres Thursday, September 23rd after The Big Bang Theory. Only on CBS. Couple changes now. Offensively, Baptiste is in for Clady at the left tackle. Mincy is coming for Campman on the defensive line. Second straight start for the Denver Broncos inside the 10. 1st and 10 from the 4. That's Gray in the motion. He's caught a couple passes from Orton today. And he's out to about is Moreno. A gain of 4 out to about the 7-yard line. You know, you look at Kyle Orton. He played for Chicago, drafted in the 4th round, but he has been as undervalued as a lot of quarterbacks are in this league, but he in particular has been undervalued in his career.
And take a look at the 3,800 yards passing, 21 touchdowns 1 year ago. His first year in the offense, remember, he was traded right around draft day the previous year. And the key is, he says, not only am I better in the offense my second year, everyone around me is much better.
Second and long assist, and this is Gaffney. Works his way into the grasp in the secondary. The nickelback was there. William Middleton, it's a gain of 10. It's another first down. It looks pretty sharp starting the days. You take a look at the numbers on Jabbar Gaffney, who has played for Houston, New England, second season with the Broncos.
And going back to Kyle Orton, he had played his college football at Purdue for Joe Tiller in a pass-oriented offense. Remember, he succeeded Drew Brees in that offensive system. So it's a pro-style offense. So here's a guy that's well aware of what he's doing on the football field. Tremendously high football IQ.
Gronkowski, the tight end, in motion. Here comes Moreno. Baptiste, the new left tackle, is in there trying to block. No place to run, no place to hide. The tackle made by Justin Durant and a loss of 1. Back to the 16. You know, Orton just signed a contract extension in August. And, you know, he's never been the highest paid quarterback on his team until now.
Until now. And that's saying a lot, because he still came into training camp with the mindset that he was going to compete. He wasn't going to concede and allow Tim Tebow to walk in and become the starting quarterback. He went out and competed, and now he's awarded a new contract.
Broncos in the midst of their third possession. We have no score. 4 punts in the game, 2 each way. We return to Jacksonville after these messages as you're watching the NFL on CBS. Broncos having it for the third time. 7 plays punt, 5 plays punt. There you take a look at Kyle Orton out of Purdue. As you mentioned, he was in that trade that brought Jay Cutler to Chicago and him to Denver.
And remember, when you talk to people, they'll tell you that Kyle Orton was a throw-in, a late throw-in in that trade deal.
Buckhalter in the backfield. Orton zips one outside. Pumped by Eddie Royal. Stiff arms his way by one defender. That was Cox, and there he goes with some nifty moves and driven out of bounds by Anthony Smith. It's a catch and run of 23, another first down for Denver.
And Eddie Royal is just another player who is going to emerge in his second year in this Josh McDaniel offense. Watch the move he puts on Derek Cox. Cox falls down. The ability to create yards after the catch. A little stiff arm, another juke, and now it's into the secondary, and away we go for Eddie Royal. This is something he gives your offense. Now watch how he gets open. Fights to get open, fights his way back to the ball. Look at the quickness. A little stiff arm, another juke move. That's Eddie Royal at his best.
Campman is back in. This is Tebow on the Wild Horse, the Wildcat, what they call it. And a gain of a yard. Campman, who had just come back in the game to begin this second quarter, he makes the tackle after a gain of 1.
Tim Tebow is an enigma, a riddle, and a mystery, but he wasn't that at Florida. The pros is great leadership, flexibility to do a number of different things, versatility, and tremendous character. But some of the cons, a learning curve, the mechanics of throwing the football, and of course, the timetable needed to grow from that neophyte rookie quarterback to a guy who's going to make a difference throwing the ball at the NFL level.
Buckhalter comes to the bottom of your screen. Orton is back in. Second down and 9. Middleton remains as the nickelback. And that ball with the defense by Darryl Smith intended for Eddie Royal. Gain of 6.
What did Josh McDaniel tell us about Tim Tebow? He said all the critics who try to criticize Tim Tebow, they never talk about his velocity. They never talk about his accuracy. They never talk about his flexibility and his tremendous leadership as an athlete. And they don't talk about, look at the production in the preseason. He said everybody wants to talk about his motion. Josh McDaniel says, I've never seen a quarterback, never seen 2 quarterbacks who have the same motion. Not in Tom Brady, not in Matt Castle, not in Kyle Orton, and definitely not in Tim Tebow.
Bottom of your screen, they got a linebacker guarding that tight end wide. Bottom of your screen, 3rd and 3. That play is blown dead with the penalty flag thrown on the play.
Delay of the game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still up and down.
It's interesting. They weren't necessarily sold on Tebow, but they watched a lot of tape, and McDaniel said, I went down to Gainesville, met with them for 8 hours. That sold me. And then Orton, of course, who is a guy that they've brought in here to be the starter, comfortable with that, likes the challenge, and they have worked well together so far through camp.
Yeah, and I think you have to give a lot of credit to Kyle Orton, the way he's handled the whole thing. He's embraced Tim Tebow. He wasn't insecure that they used the 25th overall pick to take the quarterback. All he did was show up to training camp, ready to compete and ready to lead his football team.
5 defensive backs, 3rd down and 8. Blitz was on. That was a deflected ball caught by Royal. A first down to the 47. It's a pickup of 11, hit by Cox. So on this drive, Royal has had catches for 6, 23, and right there, a first down deflected reception for 11 yards.
How wide open must Eddie Royal have been for the ball to just hang up in the air, even though it was tipped at the line? See how open he is? Ball's hanging, and it makes it way over to, look at this, Eddie Royal. But there's the hit. It's tipped by Considine, but then Catman lays a lick on Kyle Orton.
Moreno is back in as the running back. It is a 1st and 10. This drive started back at the 4. Moreno, good block by Graham. Brought down by Rasheed Mathis. That is a gain of 3 on the play. Moreno was the leading rookie running back last season in the National Football League, over 900 yards. But he's on the first day of camp, suffering from a hamstring, which knocked him out all summer long.
Yeah, but this Denver Broncos offense right now, they're on the move. 4 run plays, 4 pass plays, 52 yards in 5 minutes of the possession, and they're finding a way to move the ball against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think on the back end in their secondary for Jacksonville, they've got to tighten up the coverage, and they've got to tighten it up on Eddie Royal.
Batiste continues to take the place of Clady at that left tackle. 2nd down and 7. Blocked by Gronkowski. Here comes Kentman. There goes the ball out quickly. Moreno snares it, 40-yard line. Hit on the play by linebacker Kirk Morrison. A gain of 4 on the play.
Kyle Orton is very smart. He's got a sense. He understands how much time he has in the pocket. He can feel Aaron Catman breathing down his neck, and then he goes to the check down, quickly getting it over to Noshawn Moreno. You always have to come back down to the running back if you can't get it down the field. It wasn't pretty, but very effective.
That internal clock working for him.
Absolutely.
Orton has hit his last 5. Here is a 3rd down and 3. Another defensive back has been brought in. That is David Jones, the ex-Bengal. Buckhalter. Beatles couldn't get out there to pull, and that means all kinds of defenders were there. They limit him to a gain of 2. Mathis among many over there making the stop along with linebacker Darrell Smith. So the ball's at the 20, make it the 37.
You also had
38-yard line actually.
Yeah, you also had that right guard Chris Cooper trying to get out there to pull, but couldn't get out there fast enough in front of the running back as the defenders were swarming. And Josh McDaniels said, I have to be able to call a smart game against this Jacksonville defense. He expects it to be a close game. And, you know, both coaches do a really good job of preaching no turnover, so they're not going to give the opponent anything.
How do you like him going on for 4th down right here?
I do like it. You're in plus territory on the 40-yard line. His mentor, Bill Belichick, this is exactly what he would do in this situation.
It is a timeout. It's taken with 9:45 to play in the 2nd quarter. With the Denver Broncos in the midst of a 7-minute drive, they face a 4th and 1. Jacksonville took that timeout. They've got 1 remaining. Let's see what they pull out of their hat over there on that Denver sideline.
Yeah, Josh McDaniel would have preferred to get this ball snapped before the timeout, but nevertheless, they're still going to go for it on 4th down.
Buckhalter and Larson in the backfield. Gronkowski, the tight end, in motion. Corral Buckhalter out of Nebraska. Dives ahead. Looks like he's got the 1st down. He does. Gain of 2, 36. And number 36, Courtney Green, makes the stop. Well, they've had all kinds of. Lendale White was in camp. They had Justin Farkas in camp. Josh McDaniels was taking a look at about these running backs, kept going down.
Yeah, no one. The running backs he have in this game, Buckhalter, Marino, 0 snaps in preseason, but the offensive line had plenty of work. And how about J.D. Walton? He's the rookie at center. Chris Cooper on the right guard side, and then Zane Beatles just powered their way to a 1st down on that play.
Noshawn Moreno is back in the game on 1st and 10. Here comes the blitz. They get it out. Nice play by Orton. It's Larson with the catch. Tackle across the way made by Justin Durant. On a gain of 3 as we take you to New York and our James Brown.
Kevin, after an 0-6 Tennessee start last season, Vince Young got the call, directed them to an 8-2 mark, trying to keep it going now, going up top to Nate Washington. 56 yards for that score. Tennessee on top by the score of 10-3 over Oakland, starting the 2nd. Back to Kevin and Solomon.
You visited that Titan camp, didn't you, this summer?
Yeah, and I found a very different and renewed Vince Young with a tremendous amount of confidence.
Buckhalter in the backfield, 2nd down and 6. Beatles had a block, and there is a tackle made by Smith. They say it's a fumble, and let's see after that gain of 7. It is a fumble, recovered by Jacksonville. Oh, what a disappointing end for the Broncos in a drive that began back at their 4. 7-yard gain wiped away, and a turnover right there for the Broncos.
It's the concern you have. No snaps in the preseason. Poor ball security for Corral Buckhalter.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. FedEx, we understand. You need a winning game plan. FedEx. And by Denny's 2468 value menu. Try 16 different value meals all day, every day.
Coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report from New York, JB, Dan, Shannon Boomer, and Coach Cowell with the latest scores and news, highlights, plus a special preview of the U.S. Open's men's final. Rafael Nadal, Novak Djokovic. It's coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report from our CBS studios in New York. Buckhalter had 3 fumbles last season. You can see the numbers for the Jaguars off of turnovers a year ago. Here they come after the Buckhalter fumble on a good-looking drive at the 24-yard line, 1st and 10. Here they're after him again. Maurice Jones-Drew with the beat on him is DJ Williams, and the catch and run is good for 8 yards up to the 32-yard line.
Maurice Jones-Drew, we talked about him as a runner. We know he can return kicks, but he's also tremendous at catching the ball out of the backfield. David Garrard, as the pockets start to crumble in around him, you go to your check down back, and there's none better to go to checking out of the backfield than Maurice Jones-Drew. He usually makes that first defender miss in the open field.
Kevin Vickerson is the only new addition on the defensive line. 2nd down and 2. Jones-Drew into the pile. And out to about the 34, picking up 3 on the play. And your thoughts on this first half so far? We've had a lot of punts, and we just had a fumble in our 5 possessions for both teams combined.
You know, last year in the 2009 season, we had 10 quarterbacks throw for over 4,000 yards, the most in any single season in NFL history. It was the 2nd most in terms of the average passing yards per game, and so far you can see it's a little slow. I think it has a lot to do with both offensive lines. A very young line for Jacksonville, and then also very young and inexperienced for Denver as well.
1st down and 10. Jones-Drew, and a great defensive play by Jason Hunter. That's a loss of a yard. He read it well. You know, Jones-Drew is so small for the defenders. It's got to be very tough sometimes to pick him up. That time he was in the clear.
Also, and look at the right guard, Uche Nwaneri and Evan Britton, the right tackle. See, they just crumble in. It starts up front, and then Jones-Drew, they get swallowed up. See the penetration on the right side. They get into the backfield, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and if you're a running back, once that penetration gets in the backfield, there's nothing you could do. Just make sure you hold on to the football. How about Jason Hunter stepping up? Elvis Dumerville out for the season. Hunter steps up in his stead.
2nd down 11. 5th defensive back in there is Nate Jones. Good block by Monroe. Caught by the running back out of the backfield, Rashad Jennings. On a gain of 4. DJ Williams is there to make the stop. But you get someone so small like Jones-Drew, he can hide him back as some of those big offensive linemen, can he?
Oh, absolutely. And then when he's running the ball, he's able to pop through one of those holes.
Right.
Boy, he's 10 yards down the field before you ever notice him. And I think vision for defensive backs, being able to focus in on the runner behind the line of scrimmage, I think is all important because it helps you to take the right angles that lead you to making the tackles before a guy like Maurice Jones-Drew can break off a big one.
6 defensive backs, including Parrish Cox. 3rd down and 7. Garrard. On across the middle by the backup tight end. That's Zach Miller, a former college quarterback. It's a pickup of 6. They spot him at the 42. Nate Jones, the ex-Dolphin, was there with the stop, and now they're very close to a 1st down. They are going to punt again.
And see, when you lose yards on the previous running plays that we saw by Maurice Jones-Drew, he was hitting to the backfield. I think as the offensive lines begin to play better, so will the offense. They'll be able to move and convert on 3rd down, but both teams are really concerned about the protection for their quarterbacks.
Parrish Cox is deep back, so Jacksonville can do nothing with the Buckhalter fumble. Denver comes out unscathed, although they didn't score. And here's the Podlish punt. And Cox, wanting a fair catch, gets it at the 27. Hang time 4.68, 30-yard punt. We'll take another look at Kyle Orton and the Denver Bronco offense when we come back. Well, this Wednesday on the premiere of Survivor, can former NFL coach Jimmy Johnson lead his team to victory? Don't miss Survivor on its new night. It premieres this Wednesday, and it's only on CBS. 1st and 10 after the Jacksonville punt. Screen pass. Hit a defender's helmet. Incomplete, going for Moreno. Clady, by the way, has come back in at the left tackle for this series. And they said he might. The knee is not 100%, but the heat was also a factor of how they're going to kind of rotate those tackles.
And look at that. It's 92 at kickoff, but, you know, with the heat index, it feels like it's 100 degrees, as you saw the thermometer down on the field. Look at players trying to keep cool, trying to do anything they can to keep the body temperature down and maintain some stamina throughout the course of this game.
Campman is out again. Larry Hart, a rookie, is in there at that right defensive end. 2nd down and 10. Moreno remains. Blitz by Harvey. Oh, Jabbar Gaffney, did he get his feet in? Out of bounds. And the coverage by Rashean Mathis.
Rashean Mathis is a talented corner, a veteran in the National Football League, now in his 8th year from Bethune-Cookman. Watch as he's working over to the left side. Kyle Orton said great chemistry between he and Jabbar Gaffney. Look at that. One foot down inbounds, but the other one could not make it in. So still great catch and tight coverage by Jabbar Gaffney, but thanks to Rashean Mathis, he's not able to get both feet in bounds. 5
defensive backs, including Courtney Green. You see the extra receiver, Buckhalter at the side of Orton. It's 3rd down and 10. Good block by Buckhalter. Another sack.
Yes,
down he goes. And bringing that with his first NFL sack, Alu, the #1 pick out of Cal. 3rd defensive tackle drafted, a loss of 7. They got to punt the ball.
The Jaguars said they wanted to improve their defensive line. They used their 1st-round pick on Tyson Alu. Look at him pushing 2 guys to get to the quarterback, both he and Aaron Campman. They feel between the both of them that they have the makings of a great defensive line because both of them meeting in the backfield at the quarterback. And boy, Tyson Alu can continue to rush the quarterback like that. You know the defensive line will improve.
Colquitt to punt. Deep back is Mike Thomas. And looking up into that bright Florida sun from the 32-yard line. Hang time of 4-3. Getting a couple blocks. Oh, he's got some running room, and here he goes. Flags all over the field. Finally brought down on the play by long snapper Lonnie Paxson. 34-yard return, 47-yard punt. But let's see what all this is about here late in the 2nd quarter in a game consisting of punts and 1 fumble.
Illegal block in the back during the return. Number 50 of the return team. 10-yard penalty. 1st down.
Linebacker Russell Allen is the one who is guilty right there. So the Jaguars are going to get it again. They've had it 3 plays punt, 6 and 7 plays punt so far.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Bank of America. And by the Miller Lite aluminum pint for more ounces of that great Pilsner taste.
Take a look at the illegal block in the back right there, occurring right around the 30-yard line, well after Thomas had broken away on the punt.
From the 40-yard line, best beginning field position, busted play. Down goes the quarterback, Garrard. Drilled by Robert Ayers, who's in Doomerville's spot. As we've mentioned already, it's a gain of a yard. He's out to the 41, so some pretty good beginning field position here for Garrard and his offense.
You got to give a lot of credit also, I think, to the Denver Broncos on defense, because Jacksonville wants to come into this game pounding the running game with Maurice Jones-Drew. And so far, 10 carries, 16 yards rushing in the game, but they have a little more than that. At the end of the day, they have to be able to pound the ball running the football. But so far, the Denver Broncos defense has held up.
Hagan is out. Nickelback is Nate Jones. 2nd and 9. This is Maurice Jones-Drew, who gained some weight, he told us, during the offseason. DJ Williams is right there. It's a gain of 7 on the play. And he's out to the 48. He only carried 6 times.
Yeah, and
this in the preseason.
This is what they want to do. Look, as they're pulling around, they got to be able to get him to the 2nd level. But the number of white jerseys for the Denver Broncos are there at the point of attack. Maurice Jones-Drew. Look at that. Denver's very close. But Maurice Jones-Drew has more than the Denver Broncos does running the football.
Sims Walker, top of your screen, has been shut out so far. They've only thrown to him once. 3rd down and 2. Maurice Jones-Drew and smothered on the play. He was hit, I think, initially by Jamal Williams, then whacked by Robert Ayers. It's a gain of 1. And they're going to put this ball at the 49. It'll be 4th and 1. What will they do? It looks like they're going to go for it on 4th and 1.
And this is what I'm talking about. This is what I've liked about the Denver Broncos defense so far. Jacksonville has not been able to hammer away at them and knock them off the ball and run in the dominant fashion we said they had to coming into the football game. For Jack Del Rio, has to be disappointing that they can't convert in 3rd and short.
Possibly the 2-minute warning. Del Rio likes to go for it on 4th down, doesn't he?
Yeah,
as much as any team in the National Football League.
As much as any team, especially around midfield.
We have hit the 2-minute warning. A lot of punts and 1 fumble in the game so far. The season opener in Jacksonville. Broncos and Jags. We've reached the 2-minute warning here in Jacksonville. No scores you can see. It's 4th down and 1. You can see what they did. The Jaguars on 4th down tries a season ago.
Tremendous amount of success on 4th down.
Potter is the 3rd tight end. Starting defense out there for Denver. And the corkscrew move by Maurice Jones-Drew picks up 4, and he's got the 1st down. To the 47-yard line, keeps their drive alive.
He and DJ Williams meet in the hole, and what did Maurice Jones-Drew tell us about DJ Williams? They both attended De La Salle High School in Northern California. He said DJ Williams used to haze him. Take a look at Jack Del Rio, who's happy and really excited about converting on 4th down.
Nickel secondary for the Denver Broncos on this 1st and 10 for Jacksonville from the 47. Good block by Monroe. Gerard's got time, and he's got his receiver at the 21-yard line. That is Thomas with the grab. That's his 2nd long catch today. He had one early on for 23. That good for 26 and a 1st down. Mark it at the 21.
And I'm not sure if David Gerard's given enough credit for his accuracy on his ability to throw the football, but that was tremendous accuracy on that completion.
Bill the nickel. It's 1st down and 10. Mercedes Lewis chased by Hagan. Did he get in? Did he? Yes, he did! Over the pylon, a touchdown. A 21-yard touchdown pass to Mercedes Lewis.
We told you in our tools to victory that Mercedes Lewis, they would have to let him roll. He's a tremendous mismatch in coverage anywhere on the field. Watch him coming across the screen on the left side, matched up against Hagan, and watch him. He's not just satisfied with making the catch. He's going to power it in for a touchdown. Just a wonderful catch and run. Hagan not fast enough. 57 giving chase, but can't catch him till he gets to the end zone. Good catch and run by Lewis.
You saw Mike Sims-Walker there sealing off Andre Goodman, who could not get out of the end zone to even cut off Mercedes Lewis, who was the Mackey Award winner at UCLA. There goes Justin Bananoff. Maybe heat. You can see the towel over his head. Extra point and waiting. 50 seconds to play in the 1st. David Gerard has just thrown his 1st touchdown pass of the season. 21 yards to Mercedes Lewis. Good looking drive too. 6 plays, 60 yards. Bannon had to leave the field. That was the reason for the timeout. And here's the extra point now by Josh Scobie. 7-zip. Jacksonville. They had a nice pass before that, which set up the play.
Yeah, and it came right after they converted on 4th down, and Jack Del Rio showing confidence in his team and in his quarterback, David Gerard, who got hot on his next 2 passes. Just a tremendously thrown pass over the outreached arms of 55, DJ Williams, right into the arms of Mike Thomas for 26 yards. Then they come back and they get it over to Mercedes Lewis. But look at that. A good angle on the same catch from Thomas. But then if you're going to go over to Lewis, you know he's going to catch it. Huge pass catching radius for 6'6", 275 pounds, runs it in for a touchdown. So good looking sequence on those last 2 pass plays for David Gerard.
Coming up in the Sprint halftime report from New York in our CBS studios, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cowell for the latest NFL scores and highlights, plus a special preview of the U.S. men's final between Rafael Nadal and Novak Djokovic. Coming up on the Sprint halftime report, well, the Jacksonville folks are trying to catch any shade they can here. You see the fan trying to cool down Gerard. Here's the ensuing kickoff. Deep back is Parrish Cox. And the boot by Josh Scobie. From the 6-yard line on the fly. Cox is taken down about the 21-yard line, and Montel Owens still riding him like a cowboy, and he takes him down to about the 26-yard line, 19-yard return. Next Sunday, the NFL on CBS rolls out doubleheader action. First, the Dolphins take on the Vikings, and in the late game, many of you will see Tom Brady and the Patriots take on Darrelle Revis and the New York Jets. Check local listings for the game and time in your area. That's all preceded by the NFL today. 12 noon Eastern, 11 Central. They got a stretcher that is serving as a temporary covering there for the players on the sideline. Let's see what Kyle Orton can do. 40 seconds to play. Denver's got all three of their timeouts. Buckholder in the backfield. Going deep, and he's got his receiver, Lloyd, who on the side beat the defensive back, Derek Cox. Brandon Lloyd, a 41-yard strike by Orton, and a quick timeout taken, the first of three by the Denver Broncos.
Well, we told you, if you give Kyle Orton time to throw the ball, if you give him the protection that he needs, he's going to kill you. He will throw the ball very accurately over to the right side of your screen. Derek Cox and Chase, they're playing cover two. Sean Considine coming over the top, and they get it right there in the hole between the cornerback and the safety who's coming over the top but can't get there in time. That's a very small window to complete that pass. So a very accurate pass from Kyle Orton over to Brandon Lloyd.
Lloyd last season only played in the final 2 games of the year. He was inactive the previous 14. That time he connects with the quarterback Orton, 41 yards. Now at the 33 of Jacksonville. Clady is in as the left tackle here. Kentman has come back in as this time the left defensive end against the rookie Beatles. Orton right on the money. Great looking catch made downfield. Eddie Royal. He's down to the 9, maybe the 8. A 24-yard strike by Orton. Royal has caught passes of 23, 11, 6. Right there officially 25 yards. Hit on the play by Courtney Green.
And right now Orton is on fire. Courtney Green can't get back in time. Little play action, and then look at Royal at the second level of the defense as Green comes over a little bit too late. Royal able to make the catch, but right now Kyle Orton is on fire. Maybe you should go into that 2-minute offense, start dialing up these plays earlier in the ball game.
You know, it's interesting. Eddie Royal, Solomon, as a rookie, had 91 receptions. Last year he was down to 37.
New offense, and he's had to acclimate to this new offense. We talked to him. He said, I've had to learn to run routes differently playing under Josh McDaniel.
Buckholder is in. First and goal at the 8. Orton sets his protections. Beatles trying to block. Broken up. Considine may have gotten in there on a pass intended for the tight end Graham, and also defending was William Middleton. It'll be second down and goal.
Daniel Graham caught 2 passes on the first possession for the Denver Broncos. Hasn't caught one since, but look at Sean Considine. Number 37 nearly intercepted the pass intended for Graham in and around the red zone. He should have caught it because it hit him square in both hands. Might want to hold on to that one, and now you create the first turnover of the game, or should say another one.
Buckholder remains. You mentioned Graham. He had catches on that first drive of 8 and 28 yards. Second goal at the 8. Touchdown! Caught by Jabbar Gaffney from Jacksonville. Raised and grew up here. 8-yard touchdown hit, and they work on Derek Cox. And we're 1 point away from being tied close to halftime.
Yeah, Derek Cox, number 21, over to the right side of your screen, coming to the back of the end zone. See, they trip. Look at that. They get their feet tangled up, and Cox goes down. Gaffney maintains his stance in the end zone, able to come down with it. Look at the reaction in the end zone between Kyle Orton and Jabbar Gaffney. We spoke with Gaffney's father, Derek Gaffney, in the parking lot of their hotel. He played for the New York Jets. He said, tell him I said hello in New York.
Matt Prater ties up the game with 16 seconds to play in a 4-play, 74-yard drive. And Gaffney, who had 54 receptions a year ago, the former Patriot, early draft choice by the Houston Texans, comes up big right there. We said before the game, Kyle Orton told us last night here in Jacksonville that he is his deep threat. And they hit him right there. Find out why TV Guide calls Hawaii Five-0 Fall's hottest new show and the coolest remake ever. Catch the Wave, Monday, September 20th only on CBS. Well, we began the game with Denver in their first 4 possessions: punt, punt, fumble, punt. And then Jacksonville begins the game with punt, punt, and punt. In the last 2 possessions, fireworks. A 21-yard touchdown pass to Mercedes Lewis for the Jags. Right there out countering the Denver Broncos with an 8-yard touchdown pass from Orton to Jabbar Gaffney.
And when the offenses were struggling, I said that it had to be the offensive line. The offensive line needed to provide the quarterbacks better protection. And we saw in the previous possession by Jacksonville, they gave David Garrard the protection. 2 quick passes, they get it into the end zone. And on that possession for the Denver Broncos, you could see they kept Kyle Orton standing up. They gave him vision down the field. His receivers got open. He gets a few good passes over to Eddie Royal as well as Brandon Lloyd, and then the touchdown pass to Jabbar Gaffney.
Mike Thomas is deep back, and to kick off rather is Matt Prater. He was number 3 in touchbacks a season ago in the NFL.
Catch it.
Montel Owens will look for a seam, and that was tripped up on the play, initially hit by Cassius Vaughn. 22-yard return, 10 seconds to play.
Jacksonville, I think, has to be a little bit disappointed because they were able to score, and you felt like you put your defense on the field. You can keep the Denver Broncos out of the end zone. It played so well through most of the first half, but it has to be disappointing to allow so many big plays on the back end of your defense to allow Denver to tie it up just before the half.
We should mention that Justin Bannon is back out there. They're just going to fall on the ball here and send it to halftime. But Bannon is back in. We saw him last walk off the field with a cold towel on his head. He would have been in right there had they run the play, but he was on the field for Denver right there. Touchdown passes fill the end of the first half. A 21-yard strike to Lewis for Jacksonville. Gaffney caught one from 8 yards away. Halftime here in Jacksonville. We are tied at 7 on CBS.
In this game, the Denver Broncos, Kyle Orton has really got off to a great start. 13 of 18, 195 yards, and then the touchdown pass. Both quarterbacks have protected the ball very well. Maurice Jones-Drew, he needs to heat up here in the second half. Only 51 total yards on 11 touches. You expect more from him.
Teams are getting back out there. We can tell you that before the game there was the moment of solidarity by both the Jaguars and the Denver Broncos, and the reaction of the fans, a chorus of boos from the capacity crowd here. So it began with the Saints and Vikings in New Orleans on Thursday, and at every stadium in the NFL today, that moment by the teams and the players competing have made their statement.
Well, I think the fans, what do they want? They want football. They don't want any issues of labor unrest being talked about or shown, I think, at NFL stadiums when they expect teams to come out and play. I mean, the fans, they don't really want to be a part of it. They just want to see football. They don't want to see any interruption or a work stoppage, which is looming over the 2011 season. But right now, let's just enjoy football.
Matt Prater will kick off for the Denver Broncos to begin this second half. We told you about his big leg there at the end of the first, and deep back will be a new return man. That is Tyquan Underwood. He is out of Rutgers, played 3 games a season ago, blazing speed, and here we go to begin our second half from Jacksonville. From the 1, Underwood finding a seam. He gets up, blocked by Brackenridge. And then he is forced out of bounds by Cox. Nice return. That's going to put him after that 46-yard return by Underwood in very good beginning field position at the 47-yard line.
Now you know why they're changing their kick return guy here in the second half. Tyquan Underwood, fresh legs coming out in the second half, able to get deep across, I should say right around that 50-yard line, but good, solid, clean protection and blocking on special teams. No flags on the play.
Starters out there defensively for the Denver Broncos. Maurice Jones-Drew is the running back for quarterback David Garrard. 1st and 10 with the fullback Jones in motion. Leads the way over that right guard. And Jones-Drew gets about 4 or 5 on the play. Bannon was in there. You see Williams, Jamal Williams all on that defense for the Broncos. And through 30 minutes of football, here are some of the numbers.
Yeah, Jaguars are leading in the rushing category, but not by much over the Denver Broncos. But look at the passing yards for Kyle Orton, exceeding what David Garrard is able to do for his football team. The turnovers are crucial, and time of possession, I think, is crucial also. Denver Broncos leading in that area, meaning they're giving their defense some rest in this heat.
Underwood becomes the extra receiver, so Nate Jones comes in as the extra defensive back. Hunter is out. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Jones drew. Blocked by Britt. Oh, does he open the door? And he's in the defensive backfield on a burst of 10. And a first down. Marking at the 39-yard line. Hagan among many there for the Broncos.
Take a look at it. It's just right up the middle. See the key block right there. And then they're able to get it right up the center of that defense. Yeah, people talk about his stature. Not a tall guy. But ask some of those defenders just how strong and powerful he is.
First down and 10. And Maurice Jones-Drew, Winery with the lead block as well as Jones, and then you see the result, a gain of 2 down to the 37-yard line. And there was a question when Fred Taylor was here with Jones-Drew. They said certainly at 5'7", Jones-Drew can't handle the kind of load to be the featured back. He has done that and more, especially what he did last year.
He carried the load. I mean, he didn't really have any help. There wasn't another running back that he could share the load with. All he did was go out and rush for over 1,300 yards and 15 touchdowns. That's what he is. He's a touchdown maker. And what a talented player out of UCLA now in his 4th season.
He didn't have the 5th most carries last season in the NFL. 2nd down 8. And this is the 2nd running back, Rashad Jennings, out of Liberty. Flag has been thrown. Gain of 2 to the 35 as it stands right now. McBean among a couple over there to make the stop.
Offside, 97, defense. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Justin Bannon, who comes to the Denver Broncos after 4 years with Buffalo.
Yeah, they're able to pull him off sides, and they're going to just try to kick that out and try to get it over to Jennings. But Banning has to be able to hold his water. And I stand corrected because I said Maurice Jones-Drew was in his 4th year out of UCLA. It's now his 5th season. And Josh McDaniel has some wonderful things to say about Maurice Jones-Drew. That's the focus of their defense, and obviously it's the focus of what Jack Del Rio wants to do on offense, get the ball into the hands of your running back.
Jennings remains in the backfield and he'll get the call. Slashing as he does over the guard and down to the 26-yard line. Among the many down there, Nate Jones. It's a gain of 6. They move the chains again with a first down.
And I think the key is the offensive line. They're getting it going now, Kevin. We talked about it in the first half, but look at the blocks right up the middle, right off that left side. That was just a wonderful block by Eugene Moreau holding his water, and then the collapse by the left guard, Justin Smiley, of that Denver Broncos defensive line created the hole for Jennings.
Marcus Thomas has come in now for McBean. 1st and 10. This is Jennings outside, and he turns the corner. Putting his head down, getting the hand on him is Ronaldo Hill. And they're going to make that gain down to about the 12-yard line. That's a 14-yard pickup. Remember, this great field position was set up on the 46-yard kickoff return by Tyquan Underwood.
And watch Eugene Moreau just sealing the edge. Look at the kickout block by Greg Jones. And hear the hitting from way up here.
5 consecutive runs to start things on this drive for Jacksonville.
Well, we talked about them needing to get the run game going, and then the heat of the day, being able to spell Maurice Jones-Drew with Rashad Jennings has helped the run game get going a bit.
Jones-Drew is in. Blocked by that tight end over there. Zach Potter, a year out of Nebraska, but the defense was following, and a good stop by Robert Ayers. And that is a gain of 2 down to the 10.
I think what Jacksonville is trying to do, they want to wear down this Denver Broncos defense. As you see Mario Hagan limp off the field. He's a little shaken up.
Joe Mays will take his place.
But they want to just take it to this defense. They've come out and they've done that on this possession where they've just pounded the running game.
Vickerson now leaves. 2 defensive linemen. Are they short a guy? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They may be short a player. 2nd down and long. 8. Good block by Monroe. Offering time. That is a touchdown pass. And for the 2nd time today, the angular tight end, Mercedes Lewis, pulls down a throw from the quarterback, David Garrard.
David Garrard told us that Mercedes Lewis was going to be a huge part of this offense and that we're going to have to give him respect. Throw the ball into that large pass catching radius. Just a great catch going right over the top and catching this ball. Just a great throw, great catch. Ronaldo Hill can't keep Lewis from coming down with the ball.
So Lewis, who had 2 touchdowns all of last season. 7 in his first 4 years in the NFL. Comes up with 2. And Scobie pumps it through. The kickoff return of 46 yards sets it up. Then David Garrard finds his tall tight end, Lewis, and the dunk.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
Kevin, you said there were 7 guys on the back end, and you said there were only 10 on the field. Look, only 3 guys who were rushing. So, yeah, 10 guys on the field. They had enough in coverage, but they were missing that crucial pass rusher on the left defensive end position.
Scobie will send Parrish to a knee. The guy that should have been out there, Kevin Vickerson, he was just signed this week after getting cut by Seattle. Jacksonville on top by 7.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. KFC. Football fans, today is the day you double down. So good. And by Bing. Stop searching, start deciding with Bing, the decision engine from Microsoft.
We're back in Jacksonville, and 60 Minutes has investigated a lot of frauds over the years, but few as dangerous as the one Scott Pelley covers. Plus, a rare look at Beyonce. That's tonight on 60 Minutes, only on CBS with Solomon Wilcots, our entire CBS crew, Kevin Harlan in hot and humid Jacksonville. Well, we've just seen 2 consecutive touchdown passes by Garrard. 14-7 is the score. Let's see how Orton responds with his offense from Denver.
Easy to throw a touchdown pass with only 10 defenders on the field. Yes. You spotted it. Now Kyle Orton, the Jaguars defense can repay the favor.
This is Moreno. And tripped up on the play by Justin Duran after a gain of 2 out to the 22-yard line. Early in the game, we did see Tim Tebow for a couple of plays in the Wild Horse.
Oh, absolutely. He came in and wasn't tremendously effective. Obviously, it's to give the defense a different look. They were able to get him in the game and shake some of those butterflies and get him started on his NFL career. But really, this game has come down to how well the Denver Broncos offensive line has played and the really good passing of Kyle Orton.
Couple tight ends, 2nd down and 9 from the 21. Moreno in the backfield. Gronkowski is knocked down hard by Rasheem Mathis. He grew up in Jacksonville. He went to nearby Bethune-Cookman. 2-yard gain on the play to Dan Gronkowski. Got the trade from Detroit.
The band from Bethune-Cookman performed at halftime.
Yes, they did.
Listen to that. I think they got Rasheem Mathis fired up. I know I was fired up listening to him.
David Jones is coming now as a 5th defensive back. Buckholder is in the backfield along with Daniel Graham. It's 3rd down and 7. Outside, Royal has the 1st down. Beat Cox on the wing. Royal has had a terrific day. He's caught a pass for 13, 23, 11, 6, and right there 9 to move the chains.
And Cox can't catch a break because they pick him over on the other side of the field. He runs into Jabbar Gaffney, can't clear to the other side. It does create space and separation for Eddie Royal. And good thing for Kyle Orton, he's getting the protection. He's finding his open receivers, and boy, is he laser locked with his accuracy throwing the football today.
Jerry Mincy has just come in for Derek Harvey on the defensive line. This is a 1st and 10. And the stutter stepping Moreno. Brought down by Terrence Knighton, 2 years out of Temple on a gain of 3. Solly out to the 34.
And Kyle Orton and his offense does a really good job. I think the most important thing is he talked about his ability to win games, understanding that he has to play complementary football. What does that look like? It looks like the defense just gave up a tremendous drive. They were just on the field for a long time. So Kyle Orton knows he has to convert on 3rd down. He has to maintain the ball for a tremendous amount of time on this possession to rest his defense. You put him back on the field in this heat, after one long drive, they'll wilt before the 4th quarter.
That's a good point. 2nd and 7 to fake to Moreno. And the driving, so we just told you Jeremy Mincy was in. He went crowding into Orton that time, and he'll force a 3rd and 7. Mincy rejoined Jacksonville after being waived last year.
Well, he comes off that backside. They fake it one way. As soon as the bootleg to the other side, See, he wants to get the ball to Eddie Royal, but he's able to bat that ball down. Just a really good heads-up play by Minson.
You know, Orton says, I've always been underappreciated outside my locker room, but very appreciated within my locker room.
Yeah, it's the tremendously high football IQ, the understanding of the offense, and then he can carry it over to the football field with production.
Hart has come in as the right defensive end. Nickel secondary, 3rd and 7. They need the 42. Look out! Campman led the brigade, and down goes Kyle Orton for the 3rd time today. Listen to this, only 14 sacks all of last season by the Jacksonville defense. They've just recorded their 3rd today in game 1.
68, Zane Beadles at the right tackle position, and watch Aaron Campman. See, we talk about a motor. Just see how he's crawling and trying to get to the legs. Anything he can do to get to the quarterback. There was a push in the face of the quarterback, but boy, they ecstatic. Look at Joe Cullen, the defensive line coach. Ecstatic to have Aaron Campman here in Jacksonville.
Looks like his 2nd sack right there. Here comes Colquitt to punt. Deep back Mike Thomas. No breeze inside the stadium. 25-yard line. Hang time of just over 4 seconds. And the former Arizona wide receiver for the Sun Devils is brought down on the play. Tackled by Lance Ball. 47-yard punt, 5-yard return. Here comes Garrard with a touchdown lead. Think Aaron Campman makes a difference on this defensive line?
A huge difference. It's what they were missing. Ask the guys on the back end of the defense who play in the secondary if he makes a difference. It was like playing 7-on-7 against opposing offenses without him.
1st and 10 for Garrard. This is the fullback, Greg Jones out of Florida State. Good beat on the play on the near side. You can see he was taken down by Champ Bailey. It's a loss of a yard on the play. And coming up after football, tennis action heats up at the U.S. Open for the men's final, featuring Rafael Nadal and Novak Djokovic. Nadal has 8 Grand Slam wins. Should be a beauty. 1 seed against the 3. 2nd down and 11. Just as a point of reference, we've got a little bit of weather headed toward the stadium. They say it's about 5 minutes away, so it may rain hard. We'll see what happens. With a 2nd and 11 now, with 5 in the secondary for Denver. Look at the time with the good block by Monroe. Pass intended for Sims, who's not caught a pass today. Coverage by Champ Bailey on the crossing pattern.
And before this incompletion to Mike Sims Walker, David Garrard had completed his last 7 passes, so he's caught fire here late in the game, and he's got to continue to do it. And you know, Mike Sims Walker hasn't been able to come down with the ball. He's had it hit his hands. Champ Bailey's right there to wrestle it away. At 3rd and 10 yards, their strength against strength. Jacksonville, they're the best at 3rd and 10 or longer last year at converting those 3rd and 10s. And the defense for the Denver Broncos, they're the best at preventing you from converting in this situation.
Nate Jones is the extra defensive back on that 3rd and 11. And the catch made by Thomas, the all-time leading Pac-10 receiver. The tackle was made by DJ Williams. It's a gain of 10, very close to a 1st down.
It is going to be close. He said that both teams, this is their strength. 3rd and 10 or longer. The defense is really good in this area, but how about Jacksonville? Nice throw, starting with the protection up front for David Garrard to Thomas. And Thomas has really impressed me in his 2nd year. Jack Del Rio talked about many of those rookies who had started last year now in their 2nd season. Guys like Mike Thomas, Derek Cox at cornerback, Terrence Knighton at the defensive line position. Many of these players, they were good last year. You told them, hey, we want to see more. We want to see you take your game to the next level. I think Mike Thomas has done that.
Well, when you take a look at Thomas, was drafted 4th round out of Arizona last year. Each one of the general manager Gene Smith draft choices are on this roster right now.
Oh, he's done a good job. I think he's done a really good job turning over this team from older players to young guys who are producing right away.
And with the right kind of attitude.
Absolutely.
As well, which has been huge here.
Character has been paramount for Jack Del Rio and his general manager, Gene Smith.
Well, this is an interesting call here by Del Rio. The last time he went for it on 4th down in this game, he was at midfield. They converted that 4th and 1. But now look where they are.
This will tell you how much he believes in his offensive line. I can tell you right now, they're going to go for it. He believes in the strength and the power of this offensive line. It's the kind of team he wants. And if they're going to become a team molded in the image of Jack Del Rio, they've got to be able to convert and stay on the field in these kinds of situations.
2 tight ends. Jones Drew dots the I. And Denver, they're going to challenge either the catch or the spot.
Maybe they're going to challenge the spot and try to get him to move it back by an inch.
In a game of inches, that might not be that bad an idea. So he wants to make sure the spot was right. I guess I didn't see anything irregular about the catch, so it's got to be the spot.
It is reviewable. Take a look at the spot. We see where the first down marker is. It's right on that 40-yard line. Because there's the catch. Now, did he make it back?
Oh, my gosh. He should be at least a yard. But you know what? He rolled on the player. And if an elbow or knee.
It's not reviewable. Like Jacksonville did not make a first down. Fourth down.
But I wonder if any part of his body, knee, the backside, or his elbow, if any of that hit the ground, he would have been down 2 yards back. But I think he may have rolled on the player, thus he was not down. And he rolled to the 40.
And Josh McDaniel has to be as confused as I was with understanding that, you know, hey, if the ball is being spotted, why is it not reviewable? Why does it have to result in the first down in order for it to be reviewable? But that is the rule.
Still 2 tight ends. It is 4th and 1. Zach Potter, the other tight end, in motion. Maurice Jones-Drew. Oh, I think he was stopped. I don't think he got it. And if he did not, look where Denver is going to get the ball. A statement on both sides. And D.J. Williams among the first to get in there and get Maurice Jones-Drew, and they will take another measurement.
Look at D.J. Williams saying, you don't even need to spot that one. He was able to knife through.
Wow.
And the strength of that side of that defensive line, they poured in onto Maurice Jones-Drew. He was hit before he could even get back to the line of scrimmage.
Boy, you've got the touchdown lead. And if they're short here, and they are by an inch or a little bit more, it's one thing to go for a 4th down at the 50. It is another thing to go for it 10 yards in your own zone at your own 40-yard line.
But it's the confidence you have in your football team. You understand the ability to stay on the field. You also have confidence in your defense that if you give the ball to them in this area of the field, that you can come away with a stop. But D.J. Williams, it's all for naught. Turning the Jacksonville Jaguars back, getting the ball back for his offense.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by GMC, the official vehicle of the NFL. And by Verizon, the official wireless service provider of the NFL.
After missing 4th and 1 in their own 40, Jacksonville turns it over. It's first down and 10 for Denver. Threads the needle. That's Jabbar Gaffney. He caught a touchdown pass in the first half, 15-yard strike right there in a first down. What does it say about McDaniels? In the offseason, all he wanted to do was get more physical and bigger on both sides of the line. It paid off on that stand right there by the defense.
Yeah, and they added some parts to the offensive line that made them bigger. They added some parts to their defensive line that we talked about, and Jamal Williams, Justin Bannon. So they want to become a more physical team where they can dominate at the line of scrimmage.
Moreno. Nice blocking ahead. One of the big blocks by Stanley Daniels, and there he dances in the secondary with Kirk Morrison. A 17-yard gain by Noshawn Moreno. And the guard pulling did a big job, number 64, Daniels.
This is great running by Noshawn Moreno. Watch him make Anthony Smith, number 20, miss in the box. And then able to stiff arm and step out of the would-be tackle for Sean Considine. So his ability to make defenders miss at the line of scrimmage and then at the back end creates what we call yards after contact. Boy, can you wear down a defense when you force them to miss tackles.
Buckholder is in. It's first and goal. Buckholder, by the way, earlier in the game, fumbled the ball. First and goal from the 8. Orton, incomplete. Oh, there goes a flag. It was intended for Brandon Lloyd, who was doubled on the play by Considine and by the second-year cornerback Derek Cox.
There's still going to be a conference between the officials, but they're going to throw this flag. Was there some contact? Yes. I thought the ball was thrown.
Pass interference, number 21, defense. Ball played to the spot of the foul. First down.
Now, let's see if the ball is thrown in front of Brandon Lloyd. Look, it's thrown behind him. Now, that one, in my mind, is not catchable because Brandon Lloyd's trying to come back to the ball, and he sort of initiates that contact, but that ball clearly thrown well behind Brandon Lloyd. Meant to be one of those back shoulder throws. See it thrown behind him? How is that pass interference? And I'm sure that's what Jack Del Rio wants to talk to the officials about.
How about this irony? Last year, the entire season, the only team in the league that did not get a pass interference penalty thrown against them was Del Rio's Jacksonville Jaguars.
And one should not have been thrown here.
So as it stands right now, first and goal at the 1. Although this is going to be challenged, we will pause as well. Walt Coleman will go under the hood with the Jaguars on top by 7. Jacksonville is challenging that the ball may have been tipped at the line of scrimmage on the throw by Orton. The subsequent pass interference called on the Jaguars secondary, and we'll find out what Walt Coleman has seen on the replay.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. Pass interference on the defense.
You know, if you watch the replay, Duzable looked like he got a hand on it. It's number 69.
They're looking at two things. Was the ball tipped right here? If it was tipped, then by rule it cannot be pass interference. I think that's a little bit too close to tell, but the ball was clearly thrown behind Brandon Lloyd. I would have thought this would have been overturned. Look at that. That ball, there's no way he was going to get back to catch that ball.
Couple tight ends. Reno in the backfield, first and goal at the 1. Gronkowski. Moreno. Also Allen was there, also hit by Anthony Smith and others, all combining on no gain on the play. It'll be second down and goal at the 1.
Oh, that was just good, solid defense at the point of attack.
Good hit by Darryl Smith, the linebacker.
Not 1 yard gain by Moreno after contact.
Where's Hillis when you need him if you're a Bronco fan? Second down and goal at the 1. Moreno again. That time he's going to get in for the touchdown, led by the lead block of Spencer Larson. Moreno goes in for the touchdown. His 8th career rushing touchdown. And Jack Del Rio, who went for it on 4th and 1 at the 40, turned it over on downs to Denver. And the Broncos cash in.
And look, this is the 4th down play. Look at the defensive line getting the stop up front. It is a game of inches. So now they get the possession, and here it is. Game of inches again. So it was the defensive line getting the stop on defense for the Denver Broncos. And how about the offensive line powering in Noshawn Moreno? Right now, Jack Del Rio's offensive defensive line losing the game at the point of attack.
Prater ties the game. How about this guy right here? Didn't even play in the preseason. After leading all rookies and rushing a season ago, hamstring injury, and he's off today and gets a 1-yard touchdown run, and we are tied with 4:07 to play in the 3rd. Saturday, the Home Depot SEC on CBS returns when Urban Meyer's Florida Gators tangle a torn pool, and the Volunteers of Tennessee down in Rocky Town. It all begins with Tim Brando and Spencer Tillman on the TIAA Craft College Football Today, out here on CBS. We got ourselves a game.
Tremendous sequence of plays when we talk about it being, Kevin, a game of inches, and how the Denver Broncos are winning in the trenches on their defensive line first on the stop of Maurice Jones-Drew, and then the offensive line winning the game of inches to power in Noshawn Moreno. And it has to be something that smarts at head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Jack Del Rio, because he prides himself on having a physical football team. But what did Josh McDaniel tell us in our meeting? He wanted to get bigger on both the offense and defensive line, and it's paying off those decisions made in the offseason.
Tyquan Underwood is deep back. He had a 46-yard return on the kickoff by Prater the last time. And let's see what he does here. Underwood, well, played 3 games last season. He'll bring it out. Owens with a block. Breckenridge with a block. Underwood on the move to the 46-yard line. Another terrific return. The 2 guys they thought were going to be returners are both injured. So they've gone down to Underwood, who returns that one. 53 yards for Jacksonville.
And boy, has he really rewarded the coaches. He catches this from deep in the end zone. Still decides to bring it out. But look at the clean blocking up front. They're able to pin and create a wall on this right side of the field and able to get him once again close to that 50-yard line.
Jones-Drew is in. Marcus Thomas begins on the defensive line for this Denver team. It is 1st and 10.
Ball start, 66. Offense, penalty, still 1st down.
In fact, Fields, Thomas, and Bannon are now on the defensive line for the Denver Broncos. As you see, Justin Smiley was just called for the penalty. Now it's first down and 15. Smiley beat out Manawai, who had been an 8-year starter, 7-year starter for this Jacksonville team.
Smiley now has been penalized twice in the game. Once for a holding call that took away a nice run by Maurice Jones-Drew, and they can't even get out the blocks on this possession without another flag being thrown on Smiley.
Defensive back Nate Jones is coming in for Jason Hunter. First and 15 with a little play action there. Garrard has bought himself some time. Oh, rejected. Nice play. Brian Dawkins read that well.
Oh, that's just a smart play by Dawkins. He knew he had to come up to respect the run, and he just really, now watch him over to the right side. See, now watch him drift back. He's still covering Lewis, but then he also knows they're trying to sneak someone in behind him, so he elevates and gets this ball, and he's able to bat it down. That's just a tremendous athletic play, but more heady than anything else.
What Dawkins tell us last night, the first 3 steps are the most important a defensive back can make.
Most crucial. He was on the upfield shoulder of his coverage on Lewis, but still was able to take away the throwing lane, take it away from David Garrard.
And now second down and 15. Thomas was in a stand-up position. Hand off to Jones-Drew. Bannon hung a couple in there in the bottom of the pile. I see DJ Williams on a gain of 4. Mark it to the 46-yard line.
Well, they're not at this point doing a good job of getting Jones-Drew to the second level. And I can tell you, DJ Williams is doing a much better job in the second half of defending the run, slamming the door shut, creating tight running lanes. And Don Martindale, the defensive coordinator, he's got this defense really playing physical at the point of attack against a Jacksonville Jaguar offense that's determined to run the football.
6 defensive backs. Bannon is in there on the line. It's third down and 11 for Jacksonville. They need the Denver 43. And they got it. Flag has been thrown. Good looking throw by Garrard. Pass caught downfield by Mike Thomas. He was working on both Nate Jones and Ronaldo Hill. A gain of 20 as it stands right now to the 34-yard line.
Well, let's see, was it pass interference down the field, and both teams are pointing at each other.
Illegal use of hands to the face. 21 defense. The penalties decline. Play results in a first down.
That's Andre Goodman who picks up that.
It's going to be Andre Goodman flagged on the play. You can see they're working right at the top. That's where he is going to be penalized there. So it wasn't anything to do with the coverage on Thomas, but it was in Goodman working at the top of the field against Mike Sims Walker.
Thomas, Vickerson in on that defensive line along with 4 in the secondary. It is first and 10. Handoff goes to Maurice Jones-Drew. There's Vickerson, makes the stop. He was the guy that was not on the field, left 10 out there on the touchdown pass earlier in the game. He began with the Tennessee Titans. No gain on the play. It stays at the 34-yard line, and here's your fantasy football site letting you down. There's still time to upgrade to the award-winning Fantasy Football Commissioner. Get a special offer and help moving your league at cbssports.com/upgrade. The freshman in high school had his buddies over to the house yesterday. They were picking their fantasy teams and ready to go. They use that same cbssports.com site. Easy to use.
And you provided the draft coverage, correct?
No, not in my house I didn't. Second down and 10. Monroe with a nice block. Pass is caught across the way by Zach Miller, a former college quarterback. It's a gain of 2, falling down at the 32, but Williams was pressuring, Williams pressuring the pocket.
And Robert Ayers putting the pressure. 56, look at the push, coming up and under, still getting a hit on Garrard after he's thrown the football. He's been crushed on those last 2 pass completions, but it was after he was able to get rid of it.
How about Sims Walker, who was the main target for Garrard a season ago? With his 63 receptions, he's caught nothing today.
Yeah, but all the other guys are. I think that tells you a little bit something about this team, that other players have emerged as weapons for David Garrard.
5 in the secondary, 3rd and 8. Maurice Jones-Drew. There's Williams bringing him down. Read it well, shy of the first down on a gain of 5. DJ Williams, a former #1 pick out of Miami 7 years ago, and a Pro Bowl alternate last season for Denver.
DJ Williams, his ability to close, the speed to close the gap on Maurice Jones-Drew. It is his speed, his ability to get there before Drew can make the catch and turn around, that prevents Drew from having the yards after the catch. He can extend for the first down, so good speed by your linebacking core and tackling on the back end is how you're able to prevent the first down.
With the storm coming in, it's a crosswind from the far to the near side. Scobie will try a 45-yarder. And the wind pushing it, and it just gets inside the upright. A 45-yard field goal by Josh Scobie. And the lead for Jacksonville goes to 3 in a back-and-forth game here in northern Florida this afternoon with 45 seconds to play in the third quarter.
It was an impressive drive by the Jacksonville Jaguars. 7 plays, and they ran it twice. But how about the protection for David Garrard? Him making some nice throws, even though he was under pressure, and they're able to answer the drive by the Denver Broncos. And now it's going to be Kyle Orton's time. Kyle Orton is at his best in the fourth quarter of football games. He knows how to close it out as good as any.
Here comes the rain. Here comes the wind. The temperature has dropped about 12 degrees, they tell me, in the last 4 minutes. As the wind has picked up, that 45-yard field goal helped that way. And there in the distance, you can see some rain falling. There was a 53-yard kickoff return by Underwood, which set him up, and they had a 20-yard pass to Thomas on that drive.
And Kevin, as the weather changes and heat and stamina, maybe it's not the issue here in the fourth quarter. It's going to be who can run the ball and get the push like what we talked about on those last possessions by both football teams. And probably even the ability to throw the ball down the field may be hampered by the weather that we see blowing in at this point.
Well, our first all Big 12 team selection, Parrish Cox, is back. Well, now you can see the wind is blowing it so hard it's blowing the ball off the tee. Scobie last season had the 3rd most touchbacks on kickoffs in the NFL. Here comes the rain. And the fans love it.
Scobie has the wind at his back at this point.
You need someone to hold it. Breckenridge, I think, is going to blow.
You see which way the wind is blowing the ball off the tee. The good thing he was able to convert on that one, because the Jaguars will not have the wind at their advantage as it appears in the fourth quarter.
What's the last thing he told me last night during our meeting? He said this is going to be a close game today.
Yeah, I thought it would be a close game, and I thought this game would come down to maybe the final possession in the fourth quarter. And I think if you're the Denver Broncos, you got to like what Kyle Orton has been able to do. And if you're a Jaguar fan, this is where you expect David Garrard to improve.
That may go through the uprights. Wide right.
We told you.
Out of the end zone.
We told you he had the wind at his back.
You got it. There's a touchback right there by Scobie, and so Orton and his offense will begin at first down and 10 at their own 20. Josh McDaniels told us last night when they were debating the trade for Cutler and Orton and others along with the draft choices, he said, I watched 32 game tapes of Orton. I came away sold after watching that.
This is a young man that in his rookie season out of Purdue, he was playing in Chicago. He was 10-0 as a rookie playing with the Bears in his first 10 starts. So it's a kid that came into this league knowing how to win.
Moreno on first and 10. Brought down by the safety Considine from behind. Cooper holding on to his leg and slow to get up the gain of 2 to the 22.
And now with the weather coming in and heavy rains, running the ball, there's a premium on ball security. If you're Noshawn Moreno, didn't get a lot of carries. If you take a look at the temperatures now, 94, that means it's a little bit hotter. Okay, the heat index feels like 102, but now it's wet.
This may lead to seeing more Tim Tebow, who has been in the game for 4 plays, but very early in the game.
Absolutely. Your ability to run it and give maybe different looks with that wild horse or wildcat offense. Jack Del Rio loves it.
His Jaguars have a 3-point lead. Orton getting ready for what should be a terrific fourth quarter on opening weekend in the NFL on CBS. Back in Jacksonville, our referee, Walt Coleman, has just suspended the game. Lightning in the area. Heavy downpour right now, but it's the lightning that has caused the suspension. So they'll let this slow-moving cell move past the stadium here in downtown Jacksonville. But, yep, the lightning is all around us.
Yeah, we just saw a couple of streaks of lightning above the stadium. And the NFL is really about the safety of its players. They're not going to mess around. Go ahead and allow this sail to move through. You know, Jack Del Rio, the coaches and or players would love to stay in. We're starting to hear some thunder right now, but when you get lightning in the air, and I've been on many a golf course and would love to continue playing, but when the lightning shows up, we all know the safest thing to do is to run for cover, and that's what the players are going to do right now.
I can tell you that in all likelihood, New York is going to switch you from this game to another game, and when we get that word, we will immediately switch you to another game going on and then come back here for the fourth quarter in its entirety. But when we get our word from New York, you'll get word that we're leaving. So in this game, we have had touchdown passes by David Garrard of 21 yards to Mercedes Lewis and 10 yards to Lewis. And for Denver, an 8-yard touchdown pass to Jabbar Gaffney. Last possession for the Broncos, a 1-yard touchdown run by Noshan Moreno. Moments ago, a 45-yard field goal by Scobie. That gives us the 17-14 Jaguar lead going to the fourth.
And the quarterback play has been phenomenal so far in this game. We'll have to see how it continues in the fourth quarter.
We'll come back to Jacksonville soon. Let's go to James Brown in our CBS studios in New York.
Back in Jacksonville, so let's join the announcers at that contest, Kevin Harlan and Solomon Wilcots.
Welcome back to Jacksonville, where the rain is continuing to fall. We are going to begin the fourth quarter in a matter of moments. 30-minute plus rain and lightning delay here in northern Florida. That is our game summary. If you're just joining us, Kyle Orton has thrown the touchdown pass. Mercedes Lewis has had 2 touchdown receptions for Jacksonville. Hottest game for a home game for the Jaguars, and you can see the delay of 33-plus minutes. Actually, they're going on minute 35, it seems, right now. Everyone has changed their outfits and tried to dry off a little bit. Interesting time, Solomon, because what it, in essence, has given these coaching staffs is like another halftime to make adjustments for the upcoming fourth quarter.
Absolutely, to get ready for what you could expect to see, maybe with the change in weather, maybe Kyle Horton, who had been red hot before the rain delay, maybe they want to come out and run it. So if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, you've got to be able to defend maybe the run more so than Kyle Horton and his ability to go down the football field. Now, he does have the wind at his back. We saw Josh Scobie, before they changed directions at the end of the third quarter, nail a field goal to give his team a 3-point lead, heading in the same direction that the Broncos are heading in now.
Let me ask you a couple questions about just the mechanics of the game. The ball is going to be heavier because it's going to be wet. Even if they keep it dry, it's still going to have moisture on it. The field will be slick. No puddles of water so far, but you never know where they're going to.
How many players do you think change the bottom of their cleats while they're in?
Good point.
Because I think if you're in the secondary, you should have.
It'll be second down and 8 as we begin this fourth quarter. Some fans have stuck around. The lightning was something to watch. The rain has been constant. And our official referee, Walt Coleman, in his 22nd senior, the NFL's senior referee, is the one who made the correct judgment on the play. So we begin the fourth quarter. There's Walt, holding on to a 3-point lead after a field goal late in the third quarter at 45 yards. Jacksonville on defense, second down and 8. Orton down the side looking for Lloyd, and he caught it, and he's in bounds. The second long reception today by 8th-year player Brandon Lloyd. That one good for 27 yards. Earlier in the game, he caught one for 13 and 9. It's an aggressive play. We talked about, will Kyle Orton continue to throw the ball down the field? Yes, is the answer to that question. Right over the outstretched arm of Derek Cox to Brandon Lloyd. I don't know that his feet were in bounds, but his body was. It's a close call. Very close. Lloyd, of course, is, he said, 8 years out of Illinois, played for San Francisco, Washington, Chicago, and Denver. Looks like it was a challenge, and Coleman's got to get his equipment working, but they're going to go over to the replay booth and take a look at it. As we take a look at it again, the official's right on top of it. Coverage by Cox, and they have been working on
there
Cox.
You go. Did he touch the white? Now, right now, we can't see the ball, but we can see that his knee is in the out-of-bounds area. Okay, just as he's coming in. See, watch here. See, he's out of bounds at that point, but had the ball already been caught? I think maybe a reverse angle. Maybe let's see if he actually caught the ball. Okay, knee down. That one's going to be close. I think his knee was down out of bounds before any other part of his body had touched the ground. So while the ball had been caught, I think the knee was down, and the knee was down in the white painted area.
Broncos are used to this on opening day. This is the 6th consecutive road game to open a season for Denver as you take a look at Lloyd. The Jacksonville Jaguars in this city have been kind of under the microscope because, as we talked about back in the first half, they've had a hard time selling season tickets until recently. The college football push here is so strong. The pro football is staggered just a bit. And, of course, they've said this is the most important opening game they've had in franchise history as we're in the midst of a review. Was he in or was he out?
And, Kevin, one knee equals 2 feet. But it has to come down in bounds. And we're talking about the knee. Okay, not right there. Let's move it forward a little bit. See, right now, the knee's not touching the ground. Right now, the ball is in his hands, but I think the knee came down in bounds. Let's take another look at it, and let's stop it when the knee touches the ground. Right there. I think we have to say that knee is somewhat in the painted area. We saw from the reverse angle that Brandon Lloyd actually caught the ball, but I don't know that enough of his body was inbounds once he had possession of the football. This one's going to be close. I could see it going either way.
It is a catch. It is a first down. So it's a 27-yard pickup on the nice catch by Lloyd. The microphone sounds now by the mouth of Walt Coleman, maybe dead because of the weather and all the lightning we've had. Jacksonville loses a timeout. They've got one remaining for the fourth quarter.
And one of the reasons why I could see it going either way, I don't know that we saw enough evidence to overturn the call down on the field. Good play by Brandon Lloyd, making the catch more than anything.
Starters on the field for both ways. Moreno is in the backfield, 1st and 10. Pulling is Larson. And it looked like on the near side he was knocked out of bounds by Kirk Morrison on a gain of 5. Spotting the ball at the 46-yard line.
But how about the Broncos coming out very aggressive, throwing the ball down the field, Kyle Orton to Brandon Lloyd. Then they're coming back with a running game. And look at Noshawn Moreno. It's only his slippage that forces him to slide out of bounds. Had he been able to keep his footing, he might have been able to turn it up and get even more positive yards going up that sideline.
The extra defensive back now for Jacksonville is William Middleton, 2nd down and 5. Buckhalter in the game, brought down by Harvey. Hit on the play by Terrence Knighton on a gain of a yard to the 46.
You know, we talked about it in the 3rd quarter. We thought that the Denver Broncos were actually winning the battle at the point of attack on the offense and defensive line. I think they've come out here and have reasserted themselves. The protection holding up for Kyle Orton as he goes down the field to Brandon Lloyd. And then the offensive line getting a push on those last 2 run plays, getting positive yards. Now let's see if they can hold up on 3rd and short.
Buckhalter, who fumbled early in the game, remains in the game. 3rd down and 4. 5 defensive backs remain. Kentman is now playing the left defensive end against the tight end Graham and the rookie Beatles. Here comes Campman. There goes Horton. And he got the first down, gaining 5 on the run. Was Kyle Orton on 3rd and 4, picks up 5 to move the chains.
They're moving Aaron Campman around. This time he's coming right off that left edge into the face of Orton. Orton senses him closing in. He's like, I'm not sticking around so Aaron Campman can get the sack. I'm going to push it and pick up the first down. He takes a lick. Pace for that first down, but what about the pocket presence of Kyle Orton making a difference in this game?
Moreno comes back in the game. Another tight end has been put in for the Denver Broncos. That is Richard Quinn. It is 1st and 10 from the Jacksonville 40-yard line. Timeout Orton. That's their first they've burned in the second half. So it was either something defensive that he saw or...
No, what he saw, they were running out of time on the 25-second clock, and Quinn is the guy that they're upset with.
You're right.
Kyle Orton was smart enough. You can see Josh McDaniels ripping into Quinn, but we talked about the football IQ of Kyle Orton, the way that he commands control in the huddle. He knew that he wasn't going to be able to motion Quinn over and get the ball snapped in time. So instead of taking the penalty, he calls a timeout, allowed Josh McDaniel to chew out Quinn, and now they get to come back to the line of scrimmage and snap the ball.
Oh, is he ticked off?
He's yelling at Quinn, and he's yelling at the guy who's supposed to be coaching Quinn.
Yeah. Quinn was a second-round pick out of North Carolina, a very good blocker. But that time they had him in motion, and Orton wisely called time because that could have been a disaster. And right now they're moving the ball with good field position. They do not want to let up on what could be a very important possession.
And that's why it was important, I think, for Kyle Orton to take the time out. You don't want negative yardage due to a penalty. That is the thing that will derail the rhythm and the timing that you have working right now on offense.
Reno is out. Buckhalter is in. There are two tight ends. Quinn remains. It is 1st and 10 from the Jacksonville 40-yard line. Buckhalter blocked by Graham and by Royal, but fighting through with a nice defensive play was David Jones. They made a trade for him. They got him from Cincinnati. No gain on the play. It'll be second down.
Former first-round pick from Florida, Reggie Nelson, is dealt to Cincinnati. Overcomes David Jones, who I got to see him play a great deal. He was their nickel corner. They had other guys emerge and had a greater need at safety. The two teams swap players, and I think both of them are going to be the better for it.
They got him a week ago from Cincinnati. Originally a 5th-round pick out of Wingate by the New Orleans Saints. 7th play of the drive, second down and 10. Buckhalter remains. 5 in the secondary. They bring in the 5th defensive back, Middleton. Good block by Graham. Oh, that could be deflected and out. Caught on the ricochet. Harvey, a number 1 pick. Number 91 was the one to get it, and Buckhalter was circling under it, incomplete.
Jack Del Rio told us when we met with him, we want players who have greater awareness. Now watch Harvey, gets his head around. He knows something is coming. It goes off his noggin. He doesn't get his hands on it, but still good enough to knock that ball away from the intended receiver. But he sensed something was happening, and he had much greater awareness. That's what allowed him to make the play.
You could say he really used his head on that play. 3rd down and 10.
Literally.
Literally. 5 defensive backs. They got to get to the 30. Buckhalter remains in the backfield with Kyle Orton. No time on the play clock. Delay a game.
Delay of the game.
Wow.
Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Well, this time, Kyle Orton couldn't get him out of it. And this is why Josh McDaniel has got to be furious. Because as a play caller, you're looking at your chart. You're figuring, okay, we're looking at 3rd and long. Now you're looking at 3rd and way long. 3rd and 15, much more difficult. Do you have a play on that chart that can get you 3rd and 16 or get you more than 15 yards on the play? This was an offensive drive that was looking pretty good for Josh McDaniels and the Broncos.
Now 6 defensive backs for Jacksonville. They bring in Green. 3rd and 15. Outside to Royal. Good block by Lloyd. Slipping down he goes at the 36-yard line. 9-yard pickup. And the ball will be at the Jacksonville 36. And they're going to try for a field goal.
This is a smart play. It's a bubble screen over to Eddie Royal. Now you say, well, no, we're not trying to get 15 yards, but we're trying to get 8 or 9 to get back into field goal range. So really good play call by Josh McDaniel.
Now here is Prater, who in his career from 50 and beyond, 7 and 9, this is a 54-yard drive. Last year from 50 beyond, 2 of 3. Matt Prater to tie the game, and he does. We are tied at 17, a beauty from 54 yards away.
We told you the wind was at his back, as it was when Josh Scobie made his field goal at the end of the 3rd quarter, and Josh McDaniels, I think, understood the situation, called the bubble screen play to Eddie Royo to put Prater in a position to knock it through with the wind at his back. And so I think it was just a real good combination of the play call, understanding the situation with wind conditions, and Jack Del Rio is saying, are you kidding me?
But the kid has had a good arm kicking long field goals.
He was able to knock that one through, and Josh McDaniel saying, yeah, it worked out for us, and the penalty nearly cost him.
That's his 8th career 50-yard field goal. Now in his career, he is 8 of 10. Told you 2 or 3 a season ago. A huge one right there, ties it at 17. Now Jacksonville will have to make a move.
And now they've just got to keep their poise, maintain possession of the ball. Start to really play good up front. It starts with the offensive line, because we saw the Denver Broncos offensive line really take it to the Jacksonville Jaguars on that possession.
Now, something that has developed in this game is they've got a new kickoff guy. That's Tyquan Underwood. He's returned 2 kickoffs today, 1 for 47, 1 for 53 yards. And we'll see now how Matt Prater will do here. Right to him at the 2-yard line. Owens with the block, sealing the inside. And Larson among many making the stop. Ball was there. A reserve running back in a 16-yard return. Coming up after football, tennis action heats up at the U.S. Open for the men's final, featuring Rafael Nadal and Novak Djokovic. And you can see as the 1 seed and the 3 seed will battle. Should be a beauty. It's right after this from Flushing Meadows on CBS.
You know, I talk so much about the Jaguars offensive line needing to take over this game. 2 guys to watch. Mercedes Lewis, a much improved blocking tight end, and then Greg Jones has been great in the backfield as a lead block.
Starting defensive line is in there for the Denver Broncos. 17-yard line, 1st and 10. Jones drew. He gets by Ayers.
He got by quite a few.
He was brought down by Ryan McBean, a full-time starter last year. It's a gain of 2 as it stands. A flag has been thrown back at the 33-yard line. It's not working, I don't think. Oh, here it is.
Personal foul, face mask, number 98, defense. 15-yard penalty from the end of the play. 1st down.
He is the only returning defensive starter for the Denver Broncos, just called for the penalty.
Yeah, Ryan McBean, Oklahoma State. Watch it. Number 98. Right there. Right there. Face mask and then trying to twist him down to the ground. Now, you got to be smarter than that. There's plenty to grab hold of. You know, we know Maurice Jones-Drew isn't a big or tall man, but certainly something to grab onto other than the face mask.
Marcus Thomas taking the place of McBean. He's out, and this is wheeling around the side. Maurice Jones-Drew on 1st down and 10. And he finds 8 yards across the way. He's up to the 43-yard line.
Yeah, they're finally able to get him to the corner. He goes out of bounds, but I think he's going to be close to creating a 1st down. It's actually going to be 2nd and 2, but he's starting to get it going, and you can see what he's done in the 4th quarter during the course of his career. 3rd in the National Football League and cranking out the yards in the 4th quarter of ball games.
Jones has come in for Hunter on the defense. 2nd down and 2. By the way, Maurice Jones-Drew, the 4th leading rusher a season ago. Gets it here. Climbs for the 1st down. Look at the drive right there by Evan Britton. There's a flag in the secondary. That's a gain of 8, more than enough for a 1st down. And let's see who they will throw that on.
Personal foul, grasping the face mask, number 98, defense. 15-yard penalty.
Okay.
1st down.
And there he goes again.
That's when the coach says, hey, you need to come stand next to me.
Oh,
Get out of the game. And Josh McDaniels said, yeah, time for you, because you're helping the Jacksonville Jaguars at this point. That's what we call a double agent. You're playing against your own team.
2 straight penalties on McBean.
Now, why do you got to grab the face mask? They're not going to miss that.
Thomas takes McBean's place, and here's a run up the middle by Rashad Jennings for no gain. Hits by Williams and Ayers. We're down there, and there's Hagan getting off the pile as well. And they spot the ball at the 35.
Yeah, just poor judgment by Ryan McBean, hurting his football team, giving life to the Jacksonville Jaguars on this drive. Every time the Denver Broncos put points on the board, the Jaguars have come and have answered. And boy, you don't want to be in the film room on Monday having made those 2 costly penalties.
Rashad Jennings returns in the backfield, 2nd down and 10. Tight end Miller on the move, and here comes Garrard. Thomas with blockers ahead. Oh, read beautifully on the play by Ayers. It's a gain of 7 nonetheless, and they're down to the Denver 27.
The same bubble screen we saw Denver run with Eddie Royo, this time to Mike Thomas, former running back in his own right. Really good in terms of yards after the catch. And look at Robert Ayers. He's flown around today and made some significant plays. If he's not there to make that tackle, then Mike Thomas is going to get to the 2nd and 3rd level of the defense and maybe even get close to the end zone.
5 in the secondary. Garrard has hit his last 5 passes. Here is a 3rd down and 3. Jones-Drew is back in. He'll take it himself. And he's got the first down. Someone lost their hat. Luckily, their head wasn't in it. And there goes a rushing first down. Dawkins puts back on his helmet. Two old veterans.
Dawkins is a Jacksonville native in his own right. Comes flying up to try to get the tackle on David Garrard.
Good looking run by Garrard. Gets the first down. One of the leading rushers among quarterbacks in the NFL year after year.
You know why Garrard is smiling. He started to go down when he saw number 20 come flying up. He wasn't going to take the full weight of that hit.
Jennings will become the receiver atop your screen. He's a running back. Jones drew in the backfield. 7th play of the drive. Drive that began back at the 17th. Garrard, and he's got his receiver. It's a touchdown. It's caught by the tight end, wide receiver Kasim Osgood. His 5th career touchdown reception. The free agent from San Diego. His first catch today, Osgood. And a flag is down in the end zone.
But the touchdown will stand. Was it over excessive celebration? But Garrard is smiling. Great throw, great catch.
Osgood plays both positions, that time as a receiver.
Touchdown, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 81 of the offense. Still a touchdown. Will penalize the 15 yards on the kickoff. Demonstration.
David Garrard has just thrown his 3rd touchdown pass today against the Denver Broncos. That time 24 yards to Kasim Osgood. He blocks well. He plays special teams. That time as a receiver. Catches it and puts Jack Del Rio's Jaguars on top 23-17. Here's the Josh Scobie extra point. And that makes it a touchdown lead for Jacksonville with 7:59 to play in the 4th quarter. 3 touchdown passes, no picks on David Garrard, the quarterback for the Jaguars today.
Kasim Osgood goes 6'5", 220 pounds. So yeah, he's big enough to be a tight end, but certainly when you put him in that slot and he's streaking across the middle of the field, you want to get the ball to him, because if he gets in front of the defensive back, in this case Brian Dawkins, he can still power his way into the end zone. Watch him coming across, and as safety, you can't allow him to get across your face. You've got to be able to get in front of him to prevent him from catching the ball, because that 6'5" frame, it's just too big to keep him from coming down with it. Look at Ayers, loses his helmet, able to hit the quarterback. There's your excessive celebration. So the penalty falls.
So David Garrard, the Jacksonville quarterback, has thrown 3 touchdown passes today to his 2 biggest receivers. One guy who plays solely tight end, that's Mercedes Lewis, but they do spread him out, much like the Packers do Jermichael Finley up in Green Bay. And Osgood, he's as big as Lewis. He plays some tight end, but that time as a receiver. And 3 touchdown passes by Garrard in a game, Solomon Wilcox, that has gone back and forth. Jaguars on top.
And the reason why they put him in the slot is to get what they call the matchup advantage. He is a wide receiver, but they got him matched up with the safety, Brian Dawkins. You can see they won the matchup by Kasim Osgood.
Here is the rookie out of Oklahoma State, Cox, and he makes one miss. He's chased by Middleton. There's a block on the way, put on by Joe Mays, and out of bounds, Parrish Cox goes on a 25-yard return. 7:49 to play here in the game, which the Jacksonville Jaguars said was the biggest maybe of any opening game they've played in their 16-year history, for a variety of reasons. Getting confidence for a young team and showing the public kind of a shaky reputation they've got here on this Jacksonville ball club for this year.
That's right, and they've talked about it. You know, all the reports that the team is ready to leave town said, hey, but the community has really gotten behind the team this offseason. They showed up, have a sellout today, and so they wanted to put on an impressive performance to keep the fans interested in this Jacksonville Jaguar football team.
Moreno is in the backfield with Larson. Here comes Kyle Orton, who's had himself a very good afternoon throwing for the Denver Broncos on 1st and 10. Moreno offers a block, going deep, and it's caught by Lloyd, but out of bounds. The coverage on the play by David Jones. So that is an incomplete pass for Orton, who's had a good afternoon in a game that has seen a 33-minute weather delay with heavy lightning and heavy rain. David Garrard has thrown 3 touchdown passes. As we welcome our new audience, it'll be 2nd down and 10 for the Denver Broncos.
And after the weather delay, how about Kyle Orton taking his team down to tie it up with a field goal from Prater? tie the game at 17. And then David Garrard takes his team down the field, capitalizing off a couple of costly penalties on Ryan McBean to take the lead in the ball game.
Into the nickel secondary with the blitz put on. There's a pass and downfield for Lloyd, who can't hold on, or did he? Yes, he did at the 32-yard line, working on the near side. He was working on Mathis. It is a gain on the play of 35 yards, and on the last drive, Lloyd had a terrific catch for 27 yards.
Remember, Kyle Orton and Brandon Lloyd played with one another in Chicago, so having a great sense. Look at the throw and catch, just giving up his body, diving for that ball. These were the kind of catches we saw Brandon Lloyd make early in his career in San Francisco. He couldn't make the routine ones, but certainly could make the tough and difficult catch, and that one was more spectacular than any he's made so far today.
Two tight ends on the top of your screen. Four in the secondary. Moreno in the backfield. 1st and 10. Noshawn Moreno. Good block by Beatles, the rookie right tackle. And the tackle is made by Anthony Smith. It's a gain of about 10 as he weaves his way down to the 22-yard line.
Good misdirection on the play. And certainly Sean Considine watching. He's the safety, runs himself out of the play, slips back underneath, and is able to get to the second level of the defense. And this is where Noshawn Moreno, I think, has to improve. You got to make safeties miss at the second level. But what blocking up front and a wonderfully designed play by Josh McGinn.
David Jones has become the 5th defensive back for the Jaguars. 1st and 10, Moreno wrapped up by the former Packer Aaron Campman on a loss of a yard back to the 23. And Campman's been in on a couple of sacks this afternoon.
The Denver Broncos have been able to respond. Kyle Orton having a strong day, over 280 yards passing in the game. And Mercedes Lewis, 2 touchdown receptions last year. He has 2 in today's ball game. And after the long rain delay, it was hot before then. Things have cooled off, a little slippery on the field, but we've seen both teams heat up here in the 4th quarter.
Now 6 defensive backs for Jacksonville. Morrison is out the linebacker. Middleton has come in. 2nd down and 11. They need the 12. The elusive Horton. Chased by Alou. Sliding into about the 13-yard line goes Kyle Orton. He picks up 7 on the play. That'll bring up 3rd and 4.
The heady play of Kyle Orton kept his team in this game today. They're playing tough. They're playing really well on the road with a less than veteran offensive line. The pump fake and then able to run for the 1st down. You don't see Kyle Orton running the ball a whole heck of a lot, but he run it when he has to, and he's effective on that play.
Back to 5 in the secondary, 3rd and a short 3. Terrell Buckhalter is in the backfield for the Denver Broncos. Deflected again at the line of scrimmage. Somebody got their big paw, and it may have been the driving Sean Considine from the safety position on the blitz who got a hand on the ball.
Take a look at it. Pressure in the face of the quarterback. If you can get it past the coverage, maybe you have something on the back end.
It was Considine.
Yeah, it was Considine. They were trying to get it to Brandon Lloyd, matched up in man-to-man coverage at the bottom of your screen with Rashean Mathis. You could see for a second he was open. So good play by Sean Considine.
Huge play here. 4th and 3 from the Jacksonville 14. The tight end Graham on one side of Orton, and Buckhalter, the running back, on the other, and a timeout taken by Jacksonville defensively. That is their final timeout. With 4:47 to play, and Jack Del Rio, who has seen this game seesaw back and forth, leading 24-17.
Yeah, they forced to call timeout, wanting to make sure they have the right personnel and everyone lined up and ready to play. And Jack wants to also have a talk with Walt Coleman.
And different groups are kind of converging right now. The defensive line and the secondary. Let's go to New York and James Brown.
All right, Kevin, a reminder that U.S. Open tennis is coming your way in just a bit. The Jacksonville and Broncos action there, holding to a 7-point lead. But a reminder, world number 1, Rafael Nadal, coming up, taking on number 3, Novak Djokovic. And let's get you caught up on football action. It is over between Pittsburgh and
Atlanta.
Pittsburgh and Atlanta. Let's get you caught up on that and exactly how Pittsburgh did it.
Rashard Mendenhall right here, JB, goes 50 yards in overtime. And Pittsburgh Steelers, with their defense and a big play, win the game.
All right, so Pittsburgh gets it done. Now let's take you back to Jacksonville. Kevin and Solomon.
By James, 4th down and 3 after the timeout defensively by Jacksonville. Buckholder remains at the side of Horton. And he looks into the end zone. It was caught, but was he in bounds? No way. Mathis was right there all over Brandon Lloyd.
Lloyd was able to haul it in, but he couldn't get both feet in bounds. Tight coverage by the veteran quarterback, Rashean Mathis. And Brandon Lloyd, you can tell that's where the greater confidence is at crunch time, because Orton's going to him time after time again. Look at the tight coverage. One hand, stab, haul it back in. But that second foot, as you can see, on the out-of-bounds line. So great catch by Brandon Lloyd and making a great effort to try to put both feet in bounds. I don't know how he makes this catch on the backside, but look at, there's the foot right there. That one out of bounds. Other than that, you have a touchdown for the Denver Broncos.
Lloyd is 8 years out of Illinois, only played 2 games a season ago and active the other 14. He's out of Kansas City. He makes a terrific catch, but as Solomon illustrated well with our great shots from our CBS crew, he was out of bounds. Now they're assisting him on the side. He's had a big day. Some big catches for Lloyd. He had 1 of 41 yards, 1 of 27 yards. Moments ago, a 35-yard reception. They have been working on Mathis, but on downs, it goes back to Jacksonville.
And all through this game, we've showed you a sequence in the 3rd quarter how it was a game of inches. The Jaguars being stopped on a crucial 4th down play. And then how about the Broncos getting possession of the ball and driving it in? Noshawn Marino getting in by just inches to get the touchdown. And there you see Brandon Lloyd just inches away from having a touchdown on 4th and 3. Can't get it in, and now the Jacksonville Jaguars maintain the lead.
McBean is out. Thomas is in. 1st down and 10. Maurice Jones-Drew. Greg Jones with the lead block, and he stays on his feet and corkscrews his way up to about the 20-yard line on a 6-yard gain. He is so patient. In fact, that's what Brian Dawkins told us last night in the secondary for Denver. He said the great thing about him, he's low to the ground, sure, but he is so patient with his reads.
And you can't count him down until he's on the ground. And look at what he's done now in his 5th season, just the first game of his 5th season, over 4,000 yards rushing. It didn't go unnoticed by Josh McDaniel, who noted that Maurice Jones-Drew, the most rushing yards in NFL history of any back in their first 4 years in the NFL outside of LaDainian Tomlinson.
Denver's got 2 timeouts. Jacksonville is out of timeout. 2nd down and 4. Jones again will lead the way for Maurice Jones-Drew, who gets to the secondary and is brought down. That is a huge gain right there. And the tackle made by D.J. Williams, a pickup of 8. They'll move the chains and a 1st down for the Jaguars.
Kevin, last year we saw the Jacksonville Jaguars in a lot of close games. They won some and they lost some. But in those final 4 games of the regular season, they go 0-4. Their inability to close out wins or close out games really cost them, I think, a trip to the playoffs. If you're Jack Del Rio and you want to show improvement in the 2010 season, maybe these next 4 minutes tells us everything we need to know. The ability to close out the game, sticking the ball in the belly of Maurice Jones.
Great fun. We'll see if they've learned anything. 1st down and 10. Jones-Drew. This guy on the field takes it right up the gut into the teeth of that Denver defense and picks up 3. He's up to the 31-yard line. He says he doesn't get tired. We talked about this back in the 1st half. That could he hold up with the load at 5'7". He's done that and more. And he's showing it again today.
And he just waved them off. They wanted to send in Rashad Jennings, and he says, no, I'm okay. Let me go ahead and stay in. Now, here's the thing. The Denver Broncos know that Maurice Jones-Drew is going to get the ball. We know Maurice Jones-Drew is going to get the ball. The key is, can you stop him? 97 yards rushing so far of the day, but now he's looking for more.
He's got 33 yards rushing in this 4th quarter alone. It is 2nd down and 7. Thomas slowed him down. He's taking the place of McBean, who had 2 big-time penalties called on him the last time that Jacksonville had it, and Jones-Drew picks up 2 on the play.
Wants to get more than that. Now there's a timeout before we hit that 2-minute mark. Josh McDaniels looking to get a stop here so he can get 1 more possession and try to get back into this game.
So Denver has a single timeout. Jacksonville operating here late in the 4th quarter with no timeouts and 2:23 to play here in the 4th as we take you back to New York and James Brown.
All right, Kevin, thank you so very much. And a reminder that we'll be bringing you U.S. Open tennis action following football. It'll be number 1, Rafael Nadal, taking on number 3, Novak Djokovic. That'll be in a U.S. Open Men's Championship coming up next following football. Chicago and Detroit. Boy, what a way to finish that one. The Bears get it done 19-14 over the Lions. Calvin Johnson looked as if he had taken the Lions to victory, but it did not happen. So with that in mind, let's take you back out to Denver, Jacksonville.
You got it, JB. Here's a 3rd down and 6 after the timeout. Broncos left with 1. Here comes Garrard, who's thrown 3 touchdown passes today. The nimble feet, the elusive moves, and the dive ahead to near the 35-yard line and picks up 3 on the play, and on the tackle was D.J. Williams, along with Marcus Thomas. You know, he adds another dimension because he is one of the best rushing quarterbacks in the National Football League.
Very athletic. He told us he was going to try to run less and look to get the ball out of his hand. He was forced to run on that play.
So Jacksonville's going to punt. We're at the 2-minute warning. Denver will get it back with 1 timeout remaining and trailing. After a 33-minute weather delay with lightning and rain, we are finally at the 2-minute warning in this game. Jacksonville's on top, 24-17. Garrard has thrown 3 touchdown passes. 3 different times today, the Denver Broncos have come back and tied the game. Here is the Podlish punt. Deep back is the rookie out of Oklahoma State, Parrish Cox. And Cox will take it for a gain of 5 on a 46-yard Jacksonville punt. So set us up here, Solomon. 4th quarter, down by a touchdown. Kyle Orton and his team will have the ball with 1 timeout remaining. They'll have it 1st down and 10.
And here in the final quarter, Kyle Orton has been money going over to Brandon Lloyd. He seemed to have had his way working on either cornerback, where the calls have been very close, but he's been able to make the tough and difficult catch. With 1 timeout remaining in the game for Josh McDaniels, look for him to maybe take a shot over the middle of the field because they can catch it there and still call a timeout.
Buckhalter in the backfield, 5 in the secondary. It's 1st down and 10. Orton goes outside. A block by Lloyd, a run by Royal, and a tackle made by Middleton out of Tiny Furman in Greenville, South Carolina. It's a gain of 2. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
And there you see time ticking off the clock, and so if you go down the sideline, you expect to be able to make a catch, get out of bounds, and stop the clock. I think they can make some money going over the middle of the field where they make big-time plays before the end of the 1st half.
2nd down, long 7. Orton, here comes Campman. There goes the throw, and the catch is made across the middle. This one is pulled in by Brandon Lloyd. He works on David Jones. Gain of 10 on 2nd and 7. A 1st down for Denver.
And there's your catch over the middle of the field. And, you know, Kyle Orton was looking, saying, are we going with a timeout or are we going with a play? Looks like they're going to snap it and try to take another shot down the field.
Still the nickel secondary. 1st and 10. Orton going deep and looking for Gaffney. It almost picked off, incomplete. Mathis, the former Pro Bowler, had it right in his hands and complained that maybe he was fiddled with as he was going up against the veteran Jabbar Gaffney.
In the 4th quarter, the final minute of a ball game, you're not going to get a flag if the offensive player makes contact before the defensive player intercepts it. Now, you tell me Jabbar Gaffney, he's not going for the ball. He's going straight for the man. He's going for his face. And never did he ever try to play the ball. So that is, I think, the definition of offensive pass interference. But the official decided to keep the flag in his pocket.
Matthew Willis is checked in. He's a track kid from UCLA for Denver. 2nd down and 10. 5 in the secondary. Good block by Clady. Here comes Campman. There goes. It's intercepted to seal the game. Darryl Smith has picked off Kyle Orton. And the 2nd turnover today for the Denver Broncos. With pressure applied on the quarterback by Aaron Campman.
Yeah, we always say pressure leads to picks. Everyone's celebrating Aaron Campman, and a few are celebrating with Darryl Smith because both were instrumental in creating the interception. Watch it off this side coming here. There's your pressure by Campman. Orton's forced to throw the ball, and look at perfect coverage on the back end by Darryl Smith. So when we say pressure leads to picks, there's a perfect illustration of it.
He led him in tackles a season ago. His 5th career interception. He's 7 years on a Georgia Tech, and he's just thrust the dagger inside on the Denver Broncos. Campman has been all over the quarterback today for Jacksonville.
He has made some plays. When we thought he would be the difference maker for this team throughout the entire 2010 season, he's made his presence felt in his very 1st game as a Jacksonville Jaguar.
What a way to kick off the season, the 51st for CBS broadcasting the NFL. And the Jacksonville Jaguars, who labeled this game one of the most important in the 16-year history of the franchise, with all kinds of innuendo surrounding the team about can they sell the place out, which they did today. Jack Del Rio said this is a huge game. and it's going to become a huge win.
And Zane Beadles, the right tackle, the rookie out of Utah, was trying to protect against Aaron Kapman with Ryan Harris out due to injury. They were able to take advantage of the inexperienced offensive lineman for the Denver Broncos.
Djokovic against Nadal coming up from New York. David Garrard throws 3 touchdown passes today. For Solomon Wilcox, this is Kevin Harlan saying so long from Jacksonville. You've been watching the NFL on CBS. We'll join James Brown in New York in our studios after this.